now.
Yeah.
And then if you guys want to start your recordings in like 5, 4, 3, 2, hit the button.
Okay.
Got it.
Makes life
Done.
easy.
We good.
Test. Can everybody in chat hear us just to be sure before we actually really get this going? But I think everything should be working.
Testing. What's going on? Scott North, what up? What's going on? Chad, give me a mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
1,
I
2,
might
3.
check my
Mic
mic.
check. You guys can hear me? You guys can hear me all right?
Oh yeah, you're coming through loud and clear.
Yeah, he coming through good.
Yeah.
Good.
He's got that professional setup.
Yes. It's that LSM flair.
Oh God, it's doing it to you again. I don't know why.
No, that is still doing it. It's me now. It's just me.
No, it's
It's all of us. How's the stream?
Well,
Is it
the
doing it
good
on the
news-
stream?
We're not seeing it on the stream.
I'm looking at the stream. I don't see
maybe
it.
Discord's just being weird. This.
It could
Well,
be
if
Discord.
I
Yeah,
have
the stream
moments
is
where I'm like,
fine.
I'll just
Yeah,
hold my
I'm-
breath then.
Yeah, you good.
All right.
Sometimes where Discord is just completely busted and the recording is fine. Like it happens when we do the Snark Tank too. Whenever we do the Snark Tank, everybody else on my Discord screen is like jittering all over the place, like they're glitching. But on the recording, it's totally fine. It's just
Discord's video pop out is messed up, but OBS over here looks okay.
Yeah,
cool.
So weird.
No doubt.
All right, well, we can get this thing going. Silence on the set. I'm gonna try and have to not trip balls over here. Hold on, I'm gonna try.
You is crazy.
There, I'm trying to switch servers. See if that helps a little bit. Just
no doubt.
pick a server. Okay. All right. Silence on the set. We'll go in 5. How's that? 4, 3.
All right. And we are live. The last word with LordCognito, Ebontis, Ty Guy Travis. Not on Thursday, that special edition Friday morning Destiny Campfire. Got a special guest before we get into that. E, how are we doing, sir?
Oh, been sleeping less and less, I think, every day leading into this weekend of hopefully not a 24-hour if the skill is there, but as long as it hopefully takes to put in this weekend. So nothing but Destiny, lots of videos, lots of little bit of caffeine here and there, you know, just whatever it takes to get through and getting ready for this thing. How about you, Travis? I know you are less thrilled to be awake this morning, but you've got good reason. So how you doing, sir?
I am. Just got back from a business trip, and my flight got delayed, so I got in at 1, and it's 5:30 right now where I'm at. So, yeah, I'm living on fumes, but been playing a lot of Destiny. My review in progress is live on IGN.com, and looking forward to get that thing done once I've completed the raid and any other end-game content that comes out. So I haven't been playing as much Destiny because I got to 1550, assumed that would be high enough, and now I've just been playing a crap load of Elden Ring, which I'm absolutely loving.
I'm jealous of that.
But yeah, it's been been an awesome couple weeks for games. I completely even forgot about Horizon at this point, just because there's so many other.
I feel bad for that game again.
I do, but on the other hand, I don't at all. I'm living my best life.
That studio is cursed, man. Every time they put something out, they just like, hey, we're going to put out our game. And then 2 days later, a groundbreaking game in the same exact genre launches. And it's like, damn.
Yeah. And it does make it look bad by comparison. I really can't go back to Horizon after playing Elden Ring because it's just.
So that's the order I should play them. Okay, good to know.
Probably, man. Honestly, although I know you won't. You love.
I love Souls too much. Like Souls is one of my babies. So I'll give, because I played Horizon 1 like 50 hours straight in a week just to like knock it out. So I played that somewhat fresh recently. So the farther away Horizon gets from that, probably the better it's going to be for me. So it's not quite overdone.
Yeah, they're very similar games. So I would space them out, to be honest.
Well, before we get going, Cog, what about you, sir? What have you been up to?
Grinding, bro. You know, we got my boy Chris Reagan here, but I told Maddie, I was like, we do Defining Duke. If you ask me what we're playing for 3 to 4 weeks, it's going to be the same thing. So he was like, oh, I already see what you do. I was like, the grind, man, the grind. I'm getting raid ready, getting the builds going. Shout out to the hustle that got patched though. Shout out to the hustle with the 2 chests. Y'all was doing the 2 chests. Yeah, I was out there on the 2 chests in the throne world doing my thing. So I got what I needed there. But yeah, man, it's just been nonstop. And like you, E, it's just not been good sleep. I've been averaging like 3 to 4, bro. It's crazy, but yo, you know what we do. But enough about me. We got a special guest. We got to bring in E, man. Talk to us about this guest we got.
All right, let's do it how we do. Chat, hopefully you guys are ready. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 187. Palms are sweaty, knees are weak, and Mom Spaghetti is ready for the raid race tomorrow. Many will be squaring off with the vow of the disciple, so spend time with your families today. You will not see them for the remainder of the weekend. On this hallowed raid eve, we will try to decipher the sacred symbols of the YouTube algorithm. Oh wait, our guest already did that with his own song. Seriously, a man of many talents joins us this morning at the campfire. First off, a true talent in the gaming world and known by the sci-fi weapon in his name, who has both green and blue blood in his veins. The talent reaches far beyond gaming, though. This man's vocal cords have likely graced your ears with a parody song that will always be well-written and researched, topical and funny, yet brings the state of the world to a head that makes you question many things about life. A true gem that will bring a smile to your face with his comedy, or poke the bear of the internet just to see how it reacts. So let's welcome, but not keep forever because you know he didn't eat before the show, a man who thinks the internet is just a little too horny, finds little things in life, like the fact that Spyro exists again, and knows there ain't no rest for the triggered. The host of the Snark Take, Sacred Symbols, and owner of some of the best damn content on YouTube, the one, the only, Chris Raygun. How you doing this morning, sir?
Jesus
Put your
Christ.
put your goddamn hands together. That's how we do it here. We can't fight.
That is a deeply unnecessary intro, but I appreciate it. God damn. Woo. Oh my! How do you even respond to that? I mean, thanks for having me on. I'm just excited to talk about Destiny because I never get to.
That's right.
Of course.
Well, see, we wrapped everything else up in a nice little bow.
Yeah, you did. That was fucking awesome, dude. God damn.
Yeah, man, long overdue, man. Glad you can make it. I know me and you were chopping it up at the event. I was like, yo, I gotta get you on. I said, we doing the tour. I gotta get you on. Last word, we gotta get you on. ILP. We're definitely around Witch Queen, and I'm glad it definitely worked out schedule wise. And then we got Trav in the building, so it all worked out. And,
yeah,
man. So what's been going on? Like, have you been in the grind? Like, what's been going on with you?
Yeah, man, so I'm not gonna lie, I fell off of Destiny a little bit not because it was a bad season, but just because there was so much to play, like so much stuff that I had to catch up on. I wanted to catch up on some of the titles that I missed from like years ago. Like I got into Prey like super recently out of nowhere, and that was fantastic.
So good, though.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm not done with it, but like because again, something else came up, and like it's a busy fucking life. But this last month in particular with games has been crazy, but I've been excited for the Witch Queen ever since I heard about it. And I know me and you, Cog, were talking about it at the live event. Literally, when we were talking, it was like, oh, we got to do a show when Witch Queen launches because it looks awesome. Just the premise of Hive Guardians in the first place, and I don't know. I've been all over this expansion. I've been all over Elden Ring. I've been dabbling in Sifu and Horizon on my off time, and I've been sleeping about 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but it's been a good month because all of these titles have been fantastic. And it's just this is the best campaign in Destiny history by a long shot. I know there's a lot of opinions out there about Taken King and Forsaken, and I liked Taken King. I thought Taken King was good. I thought Forsaken was enjoyable. But this is honestly one of the first times, story-wise, and campaign-wise, that I felt that Bungie has been close to where they were during the Halo days. I even think it compares to a lot of their
from you.
Yeah, for real. Like I genuinely like. Is this better than Combat Evolved? I think so. Is this better than Reach? You could make a good case.
Is this better than your game of all time? No.
Is this Dorito? Yeah, because you know how you ride for 3.
Let's calm down.
No, it's not that good. It's not that good.
But man, I'm just so impressed by this expansion. There's some quirks. Obviously, it's a live service game. I think crafting is in a bit of a weird spot.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
And I'm sure we'll get into all that stuff. But overall, man, I've been loving this expansion, top to bottom, PvP aside.
Yeah, I totally agree with your comments on the campaign, because I was talking to somebody about how the Destiny campaigns are kind of graded on a curve of the fact that Destiny's story has never been good. And so first you get a Forsaken and a Taken King, and you're like, oh, this is really good for Destiny.
Right.
But,
Big cap,
but
big asterisks
yeah,
every time.
but the Witch Queen is the first campaign that is genuinely actively good on its own, like separate from the Destiny kind of asterisk. It's like it's actually a deeply good campaign. So I agree with you there. I don't know if it's as good as Combat Evolved, but you know, pretty damn good. So
Yeah. I don't know. I've just been super impressed by it, and just the glaive and all of the. We'll get into it. There's a lot to talk about, but
no doubt.
But yeah, and I don't know how are you guys feeling about it overall?
Oh, we probably raved a lot last time, but yeah, I mean, for Destiny campaigns, yeah, I'm with you guys. It doesn't compare. I played through the entire thing 3 times solo, kind of going through 4 different videos and stuff that I did, so I got to experience that one. And then I did jump in with that 3-person finale fight, which I won't really quite say too much, but yeah, just the fact that they scaled the difficulty. It's still approachable by 1, but you've got kind of a good challenge for 3. More cutscenes than I think we've ever had before. The voice acting by Deborah Wilson is just stellar all the way through this entire thing. Just loving her character and glad to see we get more and more as the weeks progress. Like this week, we got more story. We got more 2 truths and 2 lies. Like things like that continue to build on top of what we got going on in the season. Yes. Season of the Risen is running right alongside it. We're trying to figure out what's going on with the Lucent Hive. You know, we got quite a deep cut this week, which was crazy. Yeah, so that's probably the most we've ever seen out of our man from the Iron Banner. So it's been the story machine firing on basically all cylinders without question, leading into Witch Queen, and then now just like delivering on just kind of the hope I had for the story. And then you turn around and you have to do Pinnacles and Gambit. And then you go look at the Crucible menu, and then you have to turn around and just kind of like, you have to check and be like, this stuff's really cool, but it's not all done yet. It's like there's some more work to do. It's like we have a roadmap for PvP. We know that Gambit got changed to where it's longer, but then people are saying if you like get a couple invasion kills, you start the whole thing over for the. There's some bumps in the road, but overall, I would say same thing. We'll get into the details on crafting because I really want to kind of pick your brains on that one because that's what I've been spending a lot of time in. Overall, just in a really good spot for the game right now, and just happy to see that it's a nice time to be excited for Destiny. And for the first time, I would say story-wise, especially as Travis said, there's much less of a caveat that you have to put on there for story. You don't need to, but there's a little bit for those couple other segments of the game that aren't 100%.
Yeah. I think that legendary mode is like because I soloed it legendary and I was getting tilted, man. That shit is hard. That is no joke. It's genuinely challenging. There was this one point in the final boss where I was like, it took me ages to get her down to like the point where she was summoning those guardians, the fire team, and I got 2 of them, and the wizard was like. The arc wizard was like fucking me up, and I was like, ah, man. And I hid behind one of the back towers.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, because I was just like, it was the only way to stay safe from those supers. It's insane. And then I hear silence. I was like, what's going on?
Did it peak?
Wizard fell off the map. and you have to finish the ghost.
You have to finish the ghost.
So I was like, oh my! I was screaming because I was like, you got to be kidding me! I spent so many hours on this one fight, and now I can't finish it. And I did it, and that happened twice, by the way. Bro, so it's just like the game is just like it doesn't. Yeah, the game does not want you to cheese it. I was cheesing it. In fairness, I was hiding. I was being
the cheese was
a bit of a bitch.
The cheese was too raunchy that morning, so yeah.
Yeah, it was. But that aside, man, so good.
So good. Yeah, man, I'm with y'all. Like the campaign, I've already ranted and raved about how much I love it. The legendary difficulty, the scaling based on the fire team, the rewards. Thank God they're giving me upgrade modules. The light level, the path to decent, to the soft cap, I felt was such an underrated thing. That
just straight past it.
Yeah, like you know what I mean.
Soft cap wasn't even a thing. I was like, oh, that's gone.
Yeah, and it's so cool that if you do the campaign, you can do that, right? Like I just thought that, like, shout out to them for that. But for me now, it's just about the minutia of the builds and Void 3.0, and now I'm like, yo, these weapons are really good. Like I was messing with what was it Season of the Risen, the helm stuff. Bro, did y'all get that pulse? Did y'all get that
Kinetic fast fire?
The kinetic, yeah.
Mhm.
So I think it's like a
Pretty good.
5. Bro, it's crazy. They got a wave frame launcher that's solar. That's crazy. You could do some sick
They got a waveframe launcher that's all 3.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. I got to get going on that. I'm saving that for today because I'm saving all the exotic quests for the last minute so I get them at the highest possible light prior to raid. That was like my strategy, and then do everything else. But I just been in a build mode, and obviously everything has been in prep for the raid. I know we'll talk about it and stuff like that. But I just want to be in a situation where, okay, boom, if they need, obviously they're going at some point they're gonna need a well. I know that. But I want to actually, I'm thinking about, I might bring Stasis in there. Hey, I might bring Void 3.0. I just want to be varied because I don't know how the encounters are gonna go. So I'm just kind of having everything set up. But yeah, I've been loving it, man. I just can't stop playing. It's bad. It's messing up my sleep schedule. That's what I know is good. When I just keep thinking about getting back on, and then one more thing turns into 4 to 5 hours, and I'm like, God damn, I can get 2 hours of sleep again. But anyway, that's been me. What about you, Trav?
Yeah, I totally agree on the campaign. Actually, our reviewer for Elden Ring, Mitchell Saltzman, who's a good friend of mine, he was saying that he didn't get to play the Destiny 2 campaign until well after Elden Ring was out because he was busy with the review. But he said that a lot of the sections on the Legendary campaign were harder than the Elden Ring. He was just like, this is straight up like super difficult, and that was so good to see because I think people don't really understand until they go into it. But like in my mind, that's the way that campaign was meant to be played, like on the hard difficulty, because it just changes. It like raises the stakes. It makes you feel like you're actually fighting someone who is a threat rather than somebody you just like steamroll like we have been doing for every year. So it's
Dude,
it's so important.
You do get that satisfaction too. It's like a very similar level of satisfaction. And I agree, man. I've been playing Elden Ring a lot. Like I streamed it for 13 hours the other day, and it was I've been all over Elden Ring.
When I do that first, that's probably how that's gonna go.
And I gotta tell you, man, like I was having a hard time with some of the Elden Ring bosses, sure, but I was not getting nearly as tilted as I was in some of these exchanges with these bosses and these encounters and these great like these puzzle rooms that require you to really like think a little bit, and it's like this is kind of cool. Like this is very very new for Destiny, and
I was gonna say
it's hard.
Do you think that Destiny has been sandbagging so long that when they finally present a campaign that's actually difficult, we're like, oh, I can just run through, I'm not used, because you're like, Elden Ring, I'm used to getting my ass kicked. I'm used to dying a lot. I know I'm going to walk up to a guy, get one shot multiple times. You don't expect that in Destiny, and then all of a sudden we walk into the Legendary campaign, and there's this Guardian that throws a void shield at you, and he just takes your head clean off, and you get to start over. It's just one of those things I did not expect, and I think, they presented that in a really, really cool way.
Yeah, I thought that was a realization for me. Like the fact narratively that they stole the light, right? That's one thing, but to actually fight Hive Guardians, and like Chris was saying, the mechanic of having to finish the ghost literally changes things because now you have to get out of your safe haven, right, and go out there in the mix, especially if they're around other enemies. So that's the first part. But the second part, I remember it really hit me when they use their super and you get one hit killed. like you've been doing to the enemies all these years. And I'm like, and I kind of laughed. I'm like, that it's kind of right though. Like it makes sense. And it added a different, level to it, a different layer to it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, the rest of my opinions about the Witch Queen campaign you can read on IGN. It's like 3,000 words or something. But I will say, like, the only thing that really bothers me about the campaign so far is the stuff that isn't there, right? To E's point, we talked a lot about how Gambit and Crucible have basically just been left rotting on the vine, and it's
back. Good.
I think it just lost all of us because he left. So
no, I don't know. Yeah, stream's still going.
Stream's going, but we just got to get the pictures back up. You're good to go.
Yeah,
stream's up. Get booted.
Weird.
Okay, there we go. Oh, nice. I've moved up.
Moved up.
Yeah. All right, we should be back. Hopefully everybody can hear you. I got to get chat back. Yeah, some just felt like, what is happening?
Bobby, remember when he spilled the water on the pizza?
That is not what's happening today.
This feel like a minor version. I'm just joking. Nah, it's just like some internet. It could be just Discord bugging out, bro.
Yeah, it's like it seems a little funky this morning.
You changed the server?
I will do that again, but
Yeah, give it a shot
it's
with that.
playing not nice.
It's just Discord hacking wonky.
Yeah. Nothing new.
No,
Yeah,
sadly
it's
not. But yeah, sorry everybody. If you guys saw video hiccup there in the world, I have no idea what that's going to come through on the audio end. But that's what is it doing?
No.
It's literally like restarting Discord over and over and over.
That's not good.
That's
not
weird. Okay, let me
Yeah.
close Discord.
Yeah, close it.
Sure.
Everybody breathe for half a second. I'll try and just
Yeah, we
restart it. Oh, this is what a wonderful morning, Chris. I am sorry. We run a good ship here.
It's
You
not
don't
like
worry.
this all the time, Chris. Don't judge us.
Yes.
Feature of Discord.
The feature.
Yeah,
But
it's a
you saw
feature.
it, though, we could ask. I never asked you this because, like, in general, like, what was for you like the beginning when you kind of like fell in love with Destiny? When you were like, okay, this is the game for me.
Oh man, I don't know, man. I think I was all on board from the second I heard Bungie was working on something else. You know, like I've been a huge Bungie guy. Like I loved the original Halo trilogy. I loved Reach and ODST. ODST in particular. I just
What is
thinking about it. And when I heard that they were doing some like weird MMO shit, I was like, that's awesome. And I remember for E3 they showed dude, I'm still rocking Thunderlord. Like I still have that in my heavy slot, and it will always be there because I remember that first E3 where they showed you coming into Old Russia through the wall and fighting that spider tank, and it was just I remember being so excited and enamored by just the aesthetic and the sound design and just the music and everything about it. And obviously it came out and it was it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then Vault of Glass came out and I was like, okay, this is not what I wanted, but this is incredible. And this is really cool. And there's something here that I think has a lot of potential. And I stuck with it for varying degrees. Like I waved in and out to kind of check some other games out. And eventually I just kind of landed in a spot where, wow, I think this game might be one of my favorites of all time. Whereas I think before I was just sort of impressed by how different it was in comparison to other titles that I'd played.
Mhm.
And I think it was at some point, I think probably Forsaken is when I kind of got games where they have bows and it's just like it doesn't feel right. It just feels weird. And the bows just felt so good in Forsaken. I was like, what are they doing? They're on crack over there. And I've been in and out ever since. It's a live service game, so it kind of, it's one of those things. But I think once the seasonal model kicked in, once the seasonal model kicked in, and it was like narratively satisfying. So within like the last year or two, I think it really became something that like, okay, this is something I'm going to consistently pay attention to, and not just kind of jump in for a month and then leave for a couple months and then come back. It's something that I'm going to consistently stick with. So
fair enough. No, Trav.
Cross your fingers.
Cross your fingers.
Don't breathe or look at it wrong. Just
we might be good.
Don't make it mad, but we'll see. It's the weirdest thing. I've never seen Discord just literally reboot itself like multiple times in a row. That's never so. Yep.
Could be an update.
Yeah, we were out of res. We were out of res tokens.
If you open Task Manager, sometimes there's multiple versions of Discord open at once. It's the same thing happens with OBS, where like my OBS will freak the fuck out, and then I'll check my Task Manager, and it's like you have 14 OBS windows open. It's like how the fuck? What? Where?
Yeah, I killed them. I killed them all. I saw those when Cogs had it in chat, so that's hopefully did it.
Had you with that IT? Goodness.
Look at that, dude. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? It worked, Cog. For you.
Yeah. Let's try that one.
Don't do my boy like that.
I didn't pour the water in there at least, so that's good.
God, technology is so fucking stupid. It's just you don't do anything different. You leave everything exactly as it is, and then somehow it's just infinitely more ruined than it was the day before when nothing changes. It's
Yeah.
What a finicky bitch.
Yep, very finicky. That's my biggest pet peeve. Coming back to settings that have changed based on an update or just any type of little thing that throws you off. So I know the feeling. Well, I was gonna say I want to set up Trav, but
How? How? Not enough memory. Okay. What is happening? OBS have a memory leak? Oh, this just died. This straight up died. That's still going. This is going to be the worst edited podcast ever. How in the world is this happening? Okay. Close. I don't even understand why are there so many OBSs? Browser pages are going. Yeah, I have like memory. What is feeds? What is that? End. Sweet Jesus. Feeds?
Maps? And it's like, how have we gone, what, 2+ years? Maybe even 3? I'm not even sure how long it's been since we've gotten a new
We've
map.
gotten one map in 2 years.
It's insane.
We've lost 11 maps in that time.
Yeah. And you know what? What's really strange to this about this for me is there are a lot of maps from D1 that they could bring over that have not been in the game yet. Specifically those big team maps when the game was like 6v6 and you could summon sparrows in multiplayer. Why not bring those over? It's not new, but it's something different for D2 at least. Yeah. And those maps, I actually really loved those maps, like the moon map that was in the beta for D1, and there was this Mars one that I remember really liking, and there's a bunch of stuff from D1 that they could port over with minimal work. It's the easy way out, but it does solve at least some part of the problem. I'm not saying you got to go and make perfectly new crafted play spaces, but give us something new, and even as simple as something that D1 used to do where they had these game modes like Rift where it was capture the flag, or even something as simple as the Sparrow Racing League, which was like a weird,
oh my God, I loved that.
I thought that was so cool, but I'm a racing guy. Like I kind of like those kart racers, and the fact that Destiny had anything even remotely like that, I thought was really, really cool and interesting, because what other FPS game has a game mode like that you could participate in competitive multiplayer? No, none. And I get that would be hard because there's a whole bunch of, there's sparrows and there's not exactly a robust speed system there that you could really take advantage of. But dude, it's something. It's something different. It's something casual at least. And whereas right now everything feels like a different version of the same. It just feels like a different version of Team Slayer. That's what it feels like. It's just like, here's 8 different versions of Team Slayer on the same maps you've been playing on for 48 years. And it just gets a little exhausting. And just the fact that it feels like they're not paying much attention to it is just, it's a little disappointing. To say the least.
It's like, I talk about this all the time because I'm like a diehard PvP main, and it's crazy that they used to have objective modes and they took them out of the game and haven't added them.
Yeah.
Capture the flag, man. I played so much of that game mode when it was out in D1, and they haven't added it back, which is crazy to me because we're now in a place where Destiny's movement finally feels really good, because they struggled with that for a really long time, and especially with the geometry, how you'd always, D1, my catchphrase was practically, what am I stuck on? Like in Destiny, that was just like, how you always really get stuck on the environment in that game, and you still do in Destiny 2, not as much, but it's crazy to me they still haven't added that. So the PvP world, it almost feels like they weren't having too much success there, so they just reprioritized in PvE. And now you see the success they're having in the PvP world. It makes me wonder if they're even really trying to make Destiny a PvP game again, especially with this new project they're working on that apparently is a PvP only game, or at least
Yeah, Matter, right?
So, Matter, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're definitely trying to maybe put some effort into that to kind of get back into the proper competitive PvP space, because that's a place where they haven't been in a long time. I mean Trials and things, and Iron Banner, that's competitive within the world of Destiny, but it's not proper competitive PvP. It's not even, you know,
Trav loves that.
I mean, it's
I mean,
I love
you can't really be competitive when you have 9,000 weapons in your sandbox.
Yeah, exactly. It's not possible. It's the variations are too high, and it just becomes a logistical nightmare to balance for. You can't have something truly competitive at that level. Like, you can have it competitive within the context of the game. Like, I love Trials, and I mean, it's as furious as it makes me sometimes. It is satisfying to have that competitive experience, even if it is in a game that's like largely, comparatively casual to other PvP experiences. But I was on Destiny 2 for a long time, PvP wise, and the map variation is really, it really gets to you after a while, to the point where when Halo Infinite came out, I was like, oh my god, thank God, thank God, thank God I have something else to play that's a little bit more competitively satisfying. But
for sure,
you know, it's just I think the thing that's strange to me is that they don't even really have to prioritize PvP. They just need to take what's already been there and put it back. I'm not a game dev. I'm not going to pretend to know like how much work goes into reintroducing something back into a sandbox and maybe taking something from D1, putting it into D2. But I mean, the Cosmodrome as a destination is in there. They brought D1 Mars back for an exotic quest. Like, surely there's a way to bring those D1 maps into D2 in a way that is, you know, that doesn't break the game or in a way that the game can handle. And even just something simple like, hey, bring that suite of maps back and let us get on our sparrows in PvP again.
Yeah.
Like, I loved sniping people off of sparrows in D1. That was so satisfying.
Yeah,
It's
or try
insane
adding
how fun that
vehicles
was.
back. I mean, that was part of the plan with D1, was to have like a Halo type sandbox where there were vehicles interplaying with
combined
people
arms.
Yeah, like
combined arms.
First
Yeah,
Light, was that the map on the moon?
Yeah, First Light was
there were
the
a
map on
couple
the
of
moon.
them. There was a big Mars map that had a tank on it and stuff.
Yes.
And they turned away from that real quick. And to be fair, the vehicles were not implemented well, but I've long held that that's when they gave up on PvP. Not recently. Like, when they took away the
Week
vehicles
2.
and they just when they took away the vehicles like in that first year and said like, oh, it wasn't that early. I think maybe they survived the first year doing that, because I remember that the big Mars map was added later. But I remember when that happened, I was like, yeah, they don't care about PvP, because you don't change your entire premise of your PvP environment, you know, your PvP setup if you're not confident that it's going to work.
Yeah, I think a big part of that was just how quickly players began to like Titan skating in D1 was crazy, and just the fact that I'm always of the thought, like, in vehicles, like a vehicle should offer you something that you can't get on your own, right? It should be a risk reward where, like, okay, here's a vehicle. It's going to make me a bigger target, but it's going to allow me to traverse the area faster, or it's going to give me more firepower than I otherwise would have. And when you're a flying wizard with Galahorn, a vehicle doesn't really offer you much of anything, even in the realm of traversal. I mean, you're flying. Yeah. With a homing rocket launcher that shoots other homing rockets. You know, like, it's I could see why they pivoted away from vehicles in general, but at the same time, I do think at the very least being able to summon a sparrow in PvP, like on a big map, at the very least, if you're not going to put the pikes in there, if you're not going to put the tanks in there, at least let us do that, because that's a way faster means of traversal than you can get on your own. Unless you were unless you're a Beyond Light year one, unless you're a Beyond Light Titan, you know, where you could just like melee across the map. I was too, believe me.
Yeah, beautiful. Are we?
I was the bane of everybody's existence.
Are you a Titan main, or what do you play?
Me, I'm a Titan. In D1, I was a hunter, but I remember starting D2 and trying hunter, and I felt like they were super toned down and weak and fucking embarrassing. Like, I don't know, like and also just like I didn't like the look of hunters in vanilla D2. You know, like vanilla D2, they looked like Warframe like ninjas or something. Like they look like really sleek and weird. Whereas in D1, they were more like kind of space cowboy. There was like more of there's more of that aesthetic.
Right.
I got that. You're right.
Yeah, there was like a weird like ninja thing going on. I was like, I'm gonna go with
Easy on the ninja slander, but continue.
I like that.
I'm not even a hunter though.
No, I remember seeing the Titan and I was like, that looks like a Spartan. I'll take it, whatever.
Yeah.
Correct. That's what I did too. I was like, oh, it's like Master Chief. Let's get on that.
Yeah.
No,
and I've just been sticking with Titan ever since, just because I go, it's Titan for me, then Hunter, then Warlock at the very end because I cannot stand.
Oh,
I cannot stand Warlocks.
He's doing well with them.
I cannot do it. Every time I look, dude. Every time I die in Destiny, and I don't know what the fuck happened, it's always a Warlock. It's never anyone else. I swear to you.
We gonna go now. All right. So the Warlock, is it the Warlock jump? Or what is it about the Warlock that just pisses you? I need to know the specific real quick.
It's the one-hit long-range explosive melees and the, hey, I have a Dawn Blade now, and now I'm flying, like, I'm a fucking UAV. I'm a goddamn Apache helicopter out of reach from everybody who shoots homing long-distance sword. It's like, all right, let's calm the fuck down a little bit.
People who can't aim on their own, so they need that homing
Warlock
sword,
is easy mode.
You're acting up right now. I'm gonna let it pass for the sake of time. For the sake of time.
All right, hold on. Let's be fair. It's not as bad as D1 where they could resurrect in the middle of trials.
Now that I take full responsibility for how ridiculous we were in D1.
Literally breaking every encounter.
Yeah, Sunsingers were definitely broken. There was a literally do-over mechanic. Do-over, like you wanted a Warlock in a Nightfall.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I feel you on it. We will continue. But we got some stuff to talk about. What's going on, E?
I think we fixed everything because it's stable now. So knock on wood. Hopefully you guys got the riffing going on. But between these three, I don't even need a run of show. I gave them one and it's pretty much pointless. So we may as well just talk about Destiny. What I think you guys were already into anyway, but my actual question to kind of go through a little more of negative and then positive was, what are your guys like as we've been we're in week 2, you guys have been spending a lot of hours with it in these first couple of weeks. What are your nitpicks for kind of the seasonal progression or Witch Queen or crafting? I know crafting, I've got my own, so it's like I want to know what your guys' nitpicks are. And I know we said, like, you know, obviously Crucible's lacking. We beat that dead horse. That's still there. Gambit is prime, but still needs work and love and finessing and massaging. It's not done. But what have you guys...
map would be nice.
Yeah, literally anything.
Or game mode, please, Jesus.
But yeah, where are you guys at on weapon crafting? I am curious about that because I've been working on that. I know we've got the patch coming next Thursday, which we'll get to a little bit later. But where are you guys at for the experience so far? Is it living up to? Do you see the potential? Do you understand their balancing? Do you hate what they've done? Where are you at? Chris, you're first. Where are you at on crafting?
Yeah, so crafting is in a weird spot for me. It mainly because this is not necessarily the avenue I go for in RPGs at all. Like I don't know, like when I played Skyrim or any other number of RPGs, I'm not sitting there mixing weeds together and crafting. Like I'm not doing that shit. I'm finding shit out in the world. Like it's the least interesting part of any RPG to me. Like I don't care. But because this is new to Destiny, I figured, okay, I'm gonna go into this, and also the glaive is how you get introduced to it. So it's like, okay, I'm kind of used to this now. It's a little bit overwhelming at first, the new UI. There's the thing that I always tell people who are like, oh man, I want to get into Destiny. It's like, be ready for 2 million different types of menus, because there's always some weird learning curve to every new thing that they add that doesn't work like anything in another part of the game. It's very bizarre. True. But how it feels right now, I think I see where they're going with it. I think it's a solid introduction to this system. Obviously, we have a very limited number of... We don't really have any mementos yet, really, to speak of. It's a very limited... I think there's only a Gambit one, right?
Yep.
For right now?
Correct.
So, but I could see how that once expanded on in the future could be really cool. I think the idea of kind of working to achieve your own perfect god roll over a long period of time is really cool. Although by the time you're done getting all those materials, you've probably stumbled across that god roll just by sheer chance.
Yeah.
That's kind of one thing that I think is, but the enhanced perks are still there, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's a good system. I just think, this is very clearly version 1. You know, we're very clearly in the early stages, and because the rest of the game is so good, I'm kind of giving it a bit of a pass for right now, because I know it takes Bungie a little while to really flesh out these systems into something that's really robust. And I mean, look how long it took for us to get Void back, even just remotely back to the way it was in D1. Hopefully we're going to be getting that with Arc and Solar sooner than later, but I think it's a solid foundation. I think the grind is a little bit confusing, given that, again, you'll probably just end up with your god roll by the time you're done crafting your perfect weapon anyway. But I think it's an interesting system. I don't plan necessarily on engaging with it too much, but it's interesting. I'm curious. I'm more than anything, I'm just curious to see where it ends up in like a year. You know, like how robust is it going to be in a year?
Cog, your take.
Kind of similar to Chris. I mean, I do see where they're going with it. My main pain points with it is the whole mutable element. What is it? A droid? Like, it's
ruinous element or whatever.
It's not clearly stated. Like, I just feel like the UI is just weird as far as how many like the fact that I got to go to my weapon and then look at the perks and then wait for it to load to tell me which one, because
the menus are slow right now.
Yeah, the menus are slow, and then like we talk about UI, I just don't like. I understand they're trying to introduce me to the system, but it was like there were times I'm trying to play the campaign and the UI is overlaying and yelling at me to do something. I'm like, get off my screen! Like, I'm trying to. But now that I've gotten a little bit more familiar with it, I'm understanding the process. Getting the patterns and trying to unlock that. To me, it does promote some D1 commitment where it's like, okay, you're living with this gun, you're being with the gun, you build it up. But I feel like those enhanced perks really need to hit for that investment to me. You know what I'm saying? So from what I hear, because I haven't made so much commitment, to Chris's point, I've got a lot of god rolls on the way. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, well, why am I gonna commit when I got the what is it, the Void Scout that I like, that has like 4 times the charm and Dragonfly or the new perks Turnabout or whatever it is that I'm liking, and I'm like, well, I got what I want. I don't need to go craft and start from scratch with perks I can't stand. Because let's be honest, those they clearly value the very good perks at the end of the tier. You know what I mean? So you literally got to play with a worse version at its base, right? And then keep trying to unlock. Again, I'm not like mad at it. Again, I think it's going to be a situation if you're unlucky with RNG and you love an archetype, right? And you commit, it can be a system that could work for you. But as of right now, there's really not many that I felt the need to kind of commit to that I haven't already just gotten in the wild naturally. So that's just where I'm at. But the Glaive, shout out to the Glaive though. Glaive is fire. I completely didn't see that coming. I didn't, because I was like, all right, it looks a little, why are they gonna do it? Wonky. And with the suppress, which we'll find out will not be in the raid, but the suppress Glaive and the other stuff, man, the Glaive is savage. Like,
it's awesome.
Really,
it's really satisfying that when you get that 3 hit. It's just there's something about it that is really satisfying, and it reaffirms what I had thought the whole time, which was it's so weird that the sword is a third person weapon, and I don't know why they did that. Like, ever like the second they introduced swords into Destiny, I think Destiny 1, right? Am I?
Yeah, it
was Taken King. You're right. And I remember when they added it, it was like, oh, 6 swords. I love swords. Obviously, the sword in Halo is so awesome. And then you get it, and it just pulls you out. And it's like, why would you pull me away from a visceral? You know what I mean? Like it's a melee combat weapon.
Experience.
Yeah, you want to be you want to be up close and personal when you're using a sword. Like I don't know. It's just very strange to me that they changed that.
The one
but
thing
the fact that you have that again. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
were you gonna say that?
I was just gonna say the one thing I heard actually about swords, because when the glaive was coming out, they're like, it is our first-person melee weapon for Destiny, and the reason they said the swords, because I was wondering the same thing. It was like I would love to be, like, I want to be first-person Ghost of Tsushima. I want that lethal mode, and I want to go in, but they basically stated that it's the way the animations are done. Like if you picture the Vortex sword, they would basically break the camera if you were in first person to do some of the animations that they were going to do, because I wondered that forever too, because it would be very awesome to just have the Titan sword, the big class one where it's just the big overhead. I want to see that one first person, but they said the way the animations are done, or the way they chose to build them, I guess, is their choice. But
yeah,
that was why.
That's kind of the thing. They could. I mean, that's just a matter of time and work. It's like you could have done it in a different way that wouldn't break the animation. But ultimately, like I get it. Like it's fine. Like it's a different weapon archetype. But the fact that we finally have that first person melee weapon and it is as satisfying to use as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Is just it's just a nice new weapon archetype that, again, something I haven't seen in any other game. I have not seen. I didn't even know what a glaive was. This is the first time I even heard the word glaive. I was like, what the fuck? What is a glaive? It doesn't even sound real. And then you're using it, and this is it's cool. And I like the even the low ammo cap and just like the way it fires. Like I was expecting that to be a little bit wonky and not fun. But it's actually super satisfying. It's a good weapon, especially that suppress, man. That saved my life.
Yes, for sure, man. Trav?
They're taking it from you, man. They're taking that suppress.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I figured glaives are probably going to get nerfed, at least for this season, this week at least. I don't know how they're going to deal with it, but yeah, it's a suppressing glaive, and then adding another mod that lets your suppress last longer. Like that was never gonna. There's it's
gonna let us have our fun for one season, Trav.
Yeah,
they let us rock out with the new toy for a little bit.
I mean, it only affects PvE, so I don't care. But it's I mean, if you thought it wasn't gonna get nerfed this season, I think that you're nuts. Yeah, the weapon crafting, we had a lot of theories about it before it came out, and I think we were all correct about all of them. Like it's kind of bizarre because we saw all the problems on the wall. We were like, well, who wants to use a worse weapon just so that they can get a good one? Like by that time, you're gonna have to have used it for like hours, and that is exactly the case. Like you have to do that. There's also low key time gating because of Ascendant alloys. It's not as bad, but like I decided I wanted to upgrade my my Enigma first, and so now I'm just like waiting on that Osteostriga catalyst because I spent all of my Ascendant alloys. It's gonna take me a while to get up. Yeah. And Raul decided he had supply chain issues this week.
Yeah, chip shortage.
Chip shortage. I mean, I get we're in a pandemic, but you gotta have a little bit. So yeah, there's that, and then the fact that it's confusing is all goddamn. I cannot 6 new currencies, and they're implemented in the worst possible way. Like my complaint about last week about not being able to see them, I still think it's terrible. I mean, you can see them in the weapon but only certain ones, and you don't really know which ones until you hover over it, and then even then it still doesn't tell you how many you need to upgrade it, so it's kind of a pointless number anyway. All of that is completely useless. It frustrates me. The ecosystem of Destiny has always frustrated me, as I've talked about a million times on the show, and I think it's now worse than it's ever been, and it's especially worse if you're a new player. If you're a new player, you're going to have no idea what's going on. And like I played with my girlfriend, and she's not used to Destiny, and she's really into like hardcore RPG. She plays ESO, dude. Like talk about currencies. And she got into Destiny, and she was like, none of this makes sense to me. And I was like, yep, that's correct. You were right. The names they chose for it too. The ruinous alloy versus the adroit and the neutral, and
it's just a bunch of words.
Yeah,
like it doesn't mean anything. The sheer amount of currencies has always been like a sticking point with me. Like even back in D1 where they were just like, hey, here's what Ascendant shards are supposed to do, and they're actually different now. Yeah, strange coins. I'm like, Glimmer, which in D1 was
Motes of light.
useless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of
motes. Oh my
light.
god, the motes of light. Don't even remind me.
Yo.
Like it's just there's this is one place. This is one tower. This is one society or country or whatever the fuck you want to call it of people. Why do they have more types of currency than our real world does?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Insane.
What's the exchange rate today? They got the board up there. Hold on, I gotta wait for page 3.
The fact that you got characters. The fact that there's characters that you could go do the exchange rate with, like we had to go to Spider and we like, yo, what's the price on spin metal today?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's literally a hustle.
When did I get a job at Wall Street? Why am I trading in this fake universe? It's crazy to me. And
currencies in exchange, the Destiny SEC comes in.
The point where I gave up is when they introduced chocolate strange coins. I was like, all right, so now we have fake edible currencies of an existing currency that no longer matters in this game. And then what did they do? They reintroduced that currency. So now there's a game where you can have chocolate strange coins alongside real strange coins. And I was like, all right, none of this makes sense. I hate it all. That was the breaking point for me. But the other thing that I think nobody's talked about is all of these ruinous and neutral and everything. Their icons are completely not unique at all, and it's that makes it even worse. There's not like color coding, like, and usually in weapon crafting you have like a blue color and a red color and a green color, and it's like very clear. Okay, this is a red weapon versus a blue.
These are all variations of orange.
This one seems completely arbitrary. It's just like this one for this perk, you have to use this element, and it's got the almost identical symbol of the other one that's out there, and that part is like even more mind-boggling. It's like you guys couldn't spring for like a different icon for this different currency that you clearly put a lot of thought into. I mean, you decided you wanted it to be in the game. At some point somebody was like, yep, we're greenlighting adroit alloy, like, or adroit energy, whatever, and they no icon.
It just makes it all kind of blend together in a way that's like not really helpful. Like I could see how like the onboarding for new players is just. I mean, dude, even as an existing player who just takes breaks occasionally to play other things, sometimes I come back and I'm like, oh, there's a new fucking toonie in the game, or like, oh, hey, a new dollar is here, and it's like, what the. I can't keep up with, especially when there's everything kind of looks the same. Like again, like I remember kind of when I was messing around with the weapon crafting and somebody in my Twitch chat had to explain to me, oh, these elements like refer to the specific perks that you're trying to work towards, guys. And I was like, oh, that's not conveyed at all.
In no way does that come through.
Man, I appreciate games that don't tell you anything. Like Elden Ring doesn't tell you a damn thing. It just sets you out. But that's a different thing. That's a very, very different game.
Yeah.
Elden Ring doesn't have a real economy to take note of. There's runes, I guess, but that's it.
They have one currency, just runes.
Yeah.
That's like the way to do it, is just because if you have all these different currencies, the problem is some of them feel completely pointless, and runes you will never feel are pointless because they're used for everything in Elden Ring, right? Like you use them to buy things and to level up and to improve your weapons. It's like you always need them. And in this one, it's like who has ever needed Glimmer in the past 5 years of Destiny? Like it's crazy. Like why does that currency even exist? I don't understand.
It is very confusing. I think I'm at my Glimmer cap.
Always.
Most of the time. Yeah.
And it's supposed to be the main currency they use. So like every Guardian is rich, which means no one's rich. Like this is like 1930s Germany. Like our inflation is through the roof. This is crazy. We're like burning Glimmer just to keep ourselves warm. It's crazy.
I'm done.
Okay. Well, for me, I was actually wanting to go last to see if you guys touched on them. You guys didn't actually take either of my points, which is even better. More things to complain about, which is great. So first off, currency caps. They have got to go.
Oh my god, I hate them.
So you can have 10 Ascendant Alloy, but so those are kind of like golf balls, but they're basketballs, I heard them called now. So we have 2 different sports balls. We got Ascendant Alloys, which don't drop from Rahul, because as you said, you got supply chain issues. Your ruinous and adroit and energetic and mutable elements, those cap at 250. And you notice that when you go to finish the deep sight resonance process on a weapon, and it's like, hey, you want to do this? Well, you're near the cap. And I'm going, I knew it was coming. Finally saw it. But of course, you still can take some neutral element because you get that as well. So you may as well do that at the same time. That's got an arbitrary cap of like, what, 8,500, I think I saw Tassie say. So you got 250 here, 8,400 here, but we have 250,000 glimmer just like crapping it everywhere. And we got more of that we know what to do with. So we have all these weird caps that make this process even more frustrating already. It's like, hey, I got a red weapon to drop. Cool. Okay, my currencies are currently full now, so I need to take that red weapon, even though I finished it, and it's got the big exclamation like, use me. I'm going to put you in the vault and save you for later. So now, my vault space issues that were because I wanted to keep some of these god rolls and have a little variety of exotics and weapons and things, now I'm going to have just pages of red exclamation points saving up currency just in case I'm ready to craft that next thing. Now, there's going to be a point where you've probably crafted everything, but this gets me to the other part. If you ever want to switch perks on a weapon that you've crafted and unlocked a perk, you're like, okay, I'm going to spin this Ascendant Alloy on the Glaive, and I want to unlock the enhanced version of Impulse Amplifier. Makes that projectile crazy fast. It's actually really good.
It's very good, yeah.
But maybe it's like, I know I'm going to go into a crazy melee fight. Maybe I want to switch and try something else. But I've paid the currency over here, so that stays, right? No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. What? I had to grind for the Ascendant Alloy. I spend it. I get the enhanced perk, but it's not permanent. That should be one of their main priorities in my mind, because if you grind for the Ascendant Alloy, which is already hard enough, and then you have the whole crafting table, and then if you want to ever switch, you cannot switch back for free. So the fact that we have currency caps that you can't do, and then the fact that it costs every time you switch, they made the system, like, I mean, you guys have all said it, and Chris said it, it's like, it's 1.0, I think, is generous. I think this is like beta phase, like 0.8, 0.9. We haven't quite got full release yet. Need to iron out some more kinks, because you guys have said already, it's like, I'm spending time with this rocket launcher that is, like, it's not great. I'm just using it as I'm going through basic activities, trying to level it up so I can have all the perks. But then to experiment with, I'm like, okay, so I've got these red weapons. I want to have all of the resources here if I do want to experiment. But then if I do experiment, then I'm just burning through resources for a non-permanent gain. So it's like, that's huge issues right now to me is, it's like, cool, I get my glaive where I want it, but do I want to experiment even though I put one enhanced trait on there? It's like, you don't want to go through the process of leveling up another one to like 16 so you can see all the perks, or 20 so you get the little stat boost. But God forbid you change perks and you have to spend that currency again as well, and you can't go back to the other one. So no, those are my main issues right now. I mean, everything you guys were saying, like the currencies being everything's orange, everything in regards to this is a pizza slice of orange or something. So it's like, that's every currency.
And that annoying level line that doesn't lead. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you're leveling up the weapon, and it's just like this ugly orange line that's just like stuck on your weapon, and just like and you can't masterwork, you can't get the border around it. And it just bothers me. It just bothers me when I see it. It shouldn't, but it does.
That's like the fact that
another thing that bothers me is the fact that because of the red line around the weapon, if it's a deep sight weapon, which by the way, terrible name, one of the worst names they've ever introduced. Deep sight, what is that? Like, actually, anyway, that bothers me.
That's everything. That's so many things in Destiny. I'm like, why?
I know, but it's not even descriptive of the thing that deep sight. Oh yeah, totally. I know what that means for sure. Like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. The fact that you can't determine your loadout, really, like if you're playing the game well and you're min-maxing, you constantly are having like 2 to 3 weapons equipped that like you don't want to use, but you need to, so that you can grind through the level and turn them into materials. And it's just like, I've used my ideal loadout for about a combined total of 35 minutes this entire expansion. I'm just like, I'm playing with so many weapons I don't want to play with. That said, I am discovering, like, I was like, oh, sidearms are pretty good again. You know, you kind of make discoveries as you play.
Do you guys like that Witch Queen sidearm though? The little 2-shot one just does not sit right with me.
One? I don't like it.
No,
I don't like it.
I like the Witch Queen submachine gun. That was the one.
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
I do like. The Stasis one feels
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
pretty good. Yeah,
Stasis one is good. Auto 720 is good. Yo, no, but I said to me, them Season of the Risen weapons, bro. Like everything that's going on in the helm with the flag, with the silver, with the blue flags on them.
Yeah.
Those weapons, ridiculous.
That auto rifle from Risen.
Oh, Sweet Sorrow. Was it Sweet Sorrow?
Sweet Sorrow. Yeah.
All of them got that perk, that intrinsic land tank.
Yep.
Yo, very underrated. That extra resilience, and then the timer in conjunction with the artifact mod, which can extend it per kill, which gives you this extra resilience. But I wanted to real quick before we're gonna move on. My big pain point still, I gotta go back at it. I know we're doing craft, we're still talking about crafting, but it's the helmet mod, bro. The helmet, it's just too many. It's way oversaturated, and then they're really trying to force choice when they really need an extra slot. Because speaking of land tank, I want to use that perk that it extends it. Then you have the orb mobs are in there. Then you got the scavengers are in there, and it's really now bothering me. Like I'm just like, I want to be able to have a heavy scavenger in conjunction. Why is the extending of the factory or foundry perks in that spot? Why can't it be anywhere else? Like, just certain things that still bother me in reference to that. So
it's like once you get to high enough level, sadly, and this is the thing I'm waiting to get in more of the game, is you have the artifice armor from Master Grasp of Avarice. And if you can get the helm, you'll have that extra slot for, that one-off. Granted, we still have the same amount of energy, so you have to spread it thinner, which I get. That's one piece of alleviation, since I think some of the season pass perks are like worth 1 energy, but it still is annoying. It's like, why can't that have 11 energy so I can actually get that extra benefit and still have my same build from what I had before? That's a way to use it, but again, yeah, it's like all of these systems are not quite there. So many, and then when you start adding up, you're like, okay, now you've taken away masterworking. Now I don't have the satisfying yellow outline. I have a red outline just like screaming at me the entire time. Then over here in the helm, there's not enough slots to use all the mods that you've made that are cool, and I can't use them all, and things just start piling up. And this is the moments where when we spend 100 hours in Destiny in the first 2 weeks, and you're like, oh, I know it's a lot of time, but you start to see more and more cracks piling up. You're like, yeah, it's still Destiny. It's like, I love the campaign, but it's definitely still Destiny at times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If there's one more complaint I can add before we move on to more positive stuff.
That's why we're here. It's this section first.
This release is probably the most buggy I've seen from not just Destiny, but from a Bungie game. It is so buggy. Like you guys were talking about the new 2 Truths and 2 Lies mission from Savathun this week.
Mm-hmm.
I have not played that, and because the insights are broken for me.
Wow.
Like the markers are on the map, but when I go to them, one of them is floating in the air and there's no flag to do, and the other one, it's like the mission is like cut off and the flag is missing, and so I can't activate either of these missions, and so I haven't gotten the story this week, and like that's not the only one I've run into, man. Like I've had just like the weirdest crap happen to me, and I'm seeing it online too. Like a lot of people are dealing with bugs from this release, and it's very not usual. And I'm guessing some of it has to do with the fact that they're working remote and the whole COVID and all that. But yeah, it's really bothering me. I need to figure out a workaround for this. I haven't done any research because I've just been busy this week. But this weekend I'm going to be looking up. I'm sure there's other people who have this problem and figured out a way to do the insights, but I haven't been able to do either of them because of this weird bug.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, wow. I the only bugs that I've had so far have been in specific boss encounters where like, oh hey, that guy fell off the map or things like that. I've luckily not had any like weird like mission specific like trigger bugs, but I have seen a couple of clips out there that was like, oh, what the fuck.
Yeah.
Straight up,
it's just very unusual. Bungie's usually so polished, probably like more polished than they need to be because they delay things all the time. But yeah, it's not great, and I feel like they need to fix some of that stuff because it's really bothering me. Like I still don't know what you guys are talking about with the Savathun progress. I mean, I did all of the seasonal stuff, but none of the additional Savathun story this week has gotten to me yet. So
that's the ones inside the lost sectors. Those are the ones that are broken for you.
Yeah, they're broken. Yeah. I can't get them to activate. I just go in the lost sector and it just makes me do the normal lost sector. So
that sucks. Yeah.
Hmm.
So what's going on in this game, E?
Besides everything we just talked about?
Yeah, what's going on?
So we have a slightly big event coming up. I thought it was hilarious because they posted on Twitter the raid race video. It was about a minute, maybe a minute and 5 seconds long. And I saw you comment on it, and I saw Maddie comment underneath yours, and he's like, whoa, this is a big deal. It is hilarious listening to Maddie's complete, like, and again, not like this. Destiny is the funny thing because we were talking about it before we started. And Destiny is like, if you play Destiny, you're deep into it. We know about these 50 currencies. Somehow we understand this chaotic math and all these things. But for people who don't play it, they don't know when these events happen, and they're not. But as like people who played MMOs, you can kind of give them a reference point. But I don't even hear about like WoW raid races because I'm not into it as much. I'm not into it anymore. But it's like, this is a special moment. We get them maybe once a year because, we're going to get another raid back later. And it's kind of going to be erased, but we've seen it before type thing, whichever one we get back. So these are these once a year moments. And this is once in, what is it now, 15 months since it's been so long since the launch. It's been a long time since our raid race. And just to see Maddie be like, wow, this is big. And you're like, yeah. Kind of a big deal. So that's.
I just got a quick story because we recorded Defining Duke. So I was telling him, what's going on, and then he's like, what's this prep stuff about? And I'm like, bro, the raid, like you don't understand. Like he didn't even understand how the mechanics of a Destiny raid really work. So I had to explain. I'm like, it's like 6 people. It's one of the most challenging activities. It's like. Mechanics, it's crazy. So he's like, and as I can see, I'm like selling him. He's like, yo, that actually sounds pretty cool. I said, trust me, whatever you do, you owe yourself just to play one Destiny raid because that was what kind of did it for me. I know Chris mentioned this earlier too, like Vogue for him, right? And same thing, for me, I was just like, okay, now I see what it was. So when it was funny, I just had that conversation with him recording. And then the trailer for the Vow of Disciple comes out. He's like, oh, okay, this is a thing. So he's like getting into it and seeing. He's like, all right, I may have to try one of them, in the future. So I'm like, all right.
You got to commit. You got to commit to like a full course. He's got to go to Destiny 101, Destiny 212, long before he enrolls in Destiny like 313 for the raid. He's got a ways to get into that one. It is. And that's the hard part. The raid for somebody who's already in it is always a very special moment. But for a new player, it's like, is it worth the journey to get able to do a raid? It's hard.
Day one?
Not even day one. I mean, day one's special because it's blind. But it's like, even to have somebody just experience a raid, and if you can kind of let them try and figure it out, it's just the journey of everything we just got done talking about. What's the leveling process, right? What's what's wrong with crafting? What's all these 1,000 currencies I gotta understand? To get there is a process, but it's like the payoff is really, really worth it when you have the moment of defeating the boss, and then if we get a cinematic afterwards, and if something cool happens to the world, like those events when you're in it are those special moments. But it's like to a new player, for Maddie especially, I don't know if he would stick. Same with you and like Danganronpa, where you didn't want to start it. I feel like he's been far enough away that I don't know if he would want to do it.
Listen, it's up to Sony. I'll tell you how we get them. This is how we get them, Chris. They have to abolish the DCV. The Destiny content vault has to go. Sony needs to drop a bag and say, okay, if it's vaulted, you can still play the Red War campaign, the Forsaken campaign, all the way. That's all he wants. He just wants to play narratively, and consecutively into where it's at now. So he has an idea of what goes on, and then he would give it a shot. But that I think is going to be hard. Yeah, because they need a bag for that. But enough about that. Let's talk about this.
I don't even think they need a bag. I think part of the reason DCV exists is because of the bloat of the game and all the different playlists it was creating. So I think that makes it really hard to come back because like you can't just put like seasonal activities in there. Like he would need that to catch up with the story. And
it would also be like what, like a 500, 600 gigabyte game at this point. Like I understand why the DCV exists. I'm not the biggest fan of the implications of, hey, you bought something and now you just don't have it anymore. That's in general just not something I'm a huge fan of. But at the same time, I remember when they got rid of Titan and all those original planets, and I remember thinking, thank God, I'm so sick of seeing those wasted giant locations on my map that I'm never going to go. I'm not going to go to Titan Do you understand? This is like it's beyond light is like on the horizon. I'm gonna go to Titan. No, I'm glad in some capacity that they're gone, but it's hard to sell new players on it because again, half that content is gone. It's like it would be as if somebody told you about, I don't know, Breaking Bad during the 4th season. Oh, but by the way, 1 through 3, you can't watch them anymore.
You can't watch anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, like you missed it. You're gonna have to like look at like a My Name is Walter video to kind of get into it. But I think
shout out to Bife there. That was great.
That was fire.
Yeah,
that was fire.
shout out to Bife, who's been a savior of mine. He's like probably like the main reason I got back into it after taking such a long break because I just had no idea what the fuck was going on. I've seen a little bit of it, but like I've not finished it.
It's a time commitment, but it's very well done.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it, and it's really well done. But that I don't know. I think one of the early. I think Maddie would enjoy Vault VOG. Like I think he would have a good time with that because that is just such a. I mean, it was my first one, so like obviously like I'm really like rose tinted towards it, and I really love it, and I just have like really really fond memories of it, especially because when me and my friends did it. It was a bunch of people that I had met growing Halo, and we had kind of drifted apart, and then we came back together for this raid, and it was just like a really special moment when none of us knew what the fuck was going on. It was completely blind. The Gorgon maze, it's just like, oh, this is so cool, and that one, it's referred to as the best raid, and I think in large part there's a lot of reasons why, because it is so tightly constructed, it is so well done, it's simple. But it's also, it requires like enough complexity in communication to get everything done. It's not that it is a hard raid. It's that it is a hard raid to get everybody on the same point on. And it's not like it's not in the same way that Leviathan was hard, because that was just kind of, I don't know, in my opinion, that was like really annoying. It was like trying to guide somebody through a fucking Ninja Warrior obstacle course. So it's just like
an obstacle course. It's an obstacle course. It's making fun of you.
I didn't feel that first part of that raid, but I think Maddie would genuinely enjoy Vault of Glass, because the satisfaction of just working together in that raid is really, really special. And you know, there's some other ones that I think might be also pretty good. I think Last Wish is really fun too.
I was gonna say, if he could be carrying the heart at the end of Last Wish and be the last one, if you can be like, all right, you just got it now, the last one, you got to walk it from here to here, and that final march with the music and everything. There are a couple moments, as you said, but it's like Last Wish is also one of the most ridiculously complicated. It's like, okay, here's the vault. Figure it out. Just put him in front of the vault and be like, we're gonna be here until you figure it out. I'll see you next week. Like, you got to do research, Penumbra and Tumbra, and all that crazy stuff.
I have a very limited experience with raid. I did VOG. I did was it Crota's End in D1? And I did a little bit of Wrath of the Machine. I did a little bit of I did Last Wish. I did a little bit of Leviathan. Okay. And I missed Deepstone, which I heard was great.
Oh, so good.
Deepstone's good.
That's still in the game, though, right? Is that?
Yeah, that's still there. That I would try and.
The fact that we gotta ask, is it still there?
Yeah,
well,
exactly,
I mean,
right?
The fact that that's even like an open question.
Why don't they have rotating weekly playlists for raids, you guys?
They should do the same thing for the dungeons. They're about to have 4 of them in there. Well, they do have 4. Prophecy, Bit of Heresy, Shattered Throne, and then now Grasp. And that should, like, the Legends play should have your rotating dungeon in there. Give me a reason to go back and play Pit of Heresy. It's still in the game. Use it. You still make us pay for it. Use it. That's the worst part.
One pinnacle drop a week, and you randomly select which raid / dungeon is the one that's up to bat. That makes sense to me. I don't know.
I'm with you, bro. Anyway.
But yeah, so Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific, basically an hour after daily reset time, wherever that translates for you, the raid race will begin, and you have 24 hours to try and cross the finish line on contest mode. Contest mode is going to be 1530. Anything over 1530 is not going to count. Artifact does come into play, but I would recommend making sure your weapons at a minimum are up there. But if you've been playing for a little, I'm just bumping at 1551, 1552. Like, it was not hard to cross the threshold of 1530 at all.
Thank God, dude. This has been one of the biggest complaints for me, is it takes so much to get to the raid climb, and it's stressful. And I just like that basically before the first week was even over, I was at this level, and I was kind of assuming it was going to be 1550. So all my stuff's 1550, and it was way easier. And it's not just that it's 1530 starting; it's 1530 for all encounters.
Yes,
that's how they should do it, man. It doesn't matter when contest mode is activated anyway. Like, why should your light level matter since you're capped anyway? So yeah, I'm
they will get likely increasingly difficult. Like the delta between us and the encounters will probably be more and more by the end. It's we're probably going to be fighting 1550 at least by the end, if not a smidge more, just to make that contest is going to feel it, especially when we get to the final. Because if we get to that Atrax moment, Atrax ruined me on Deepstone Crypt. That was so many hours on that first day. We didn't finish it, but that was there's going to be that moment where you're like, oh, we just got checked.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And they've learned their lesson. I think the last, since Beyond Light, doing it on a Saturday, picking the right time, giving you about more than 1 week after the expansion launches so that you have the more time, a reasonable light. And I think they've seen the benefit because I think, remember, was it Deepstone? They put the
massive numbers.
Yeah, massive numbers. And ultimately, that's what you want because we all agree, it's a shame that the early raids, when you looked at the percentages of actually completions and people playing it, it wasn't high. It was extremely low. So to get them to get that engagement and get more people in I thought was the right call. And I like how they handle it. Give it about 2 weeks, 1530, that's reasonable. Again, I talked about the Legendary campaign as a great springboard to get right into pocket if you do it. If you up that challenge, you get rewarded. It's good. So yeah, they're in a good spot. I'm ready, man.
Are you going to be raiding, Chris?
Oh man, I'm sure at some point. I'm definitely not going to be racing because I have no hope.
No, I'm not racing. I'm just trying to stumble over the finish line before 2402. That's all.
Yeah,
I first.
It'll be you and only you. Like it's just like no fire team. He's gonna solo it.
Solo raid.
Solo raid.
He brought back the Warlock revive to be able to do it though.
Yes.
Yeah. It's Crotus End all over again. I think I do. I don't know. The raids are hard for me because it's really difficult to get a group of adults.
That sentence right there is all you have to say is a group of adults. That's the sentence
right there. No, just like it really is just like hey, do you have an entire day potentially to set aside for what could potentially be hours and hours of frustration and guiding people you otherwise care deeply for through a very frustrating encounter for several hours that you might not be ready for. And it's not exactly the easiest thing to sell to people. I have a couple people that I know one of my ex roommates is super into it, but it's really just me, him, and we usually try and like find other people, but it's never as satisfying as when you can get a group of 6 friends who like you don't have to like, because there's always that moment where you're like you got like 2 randoms and you don't know their voices and so you can't really like coordinate on a dime in that same way. So I typically only raid when I can get those people together, where I can hear somebody talking and I know exactly who they are, I know exactly who they play. I don't have to think about, wait, who is that? They know the terminology of the game. They know, where, what classes to have, and it's a, I don't know. It's a lot to get that group of people together. So maybe at some point, I do want to do Deepstone before I do this though, because I've just heard nothing but good things about that. And but after I do Deepstone, I definitely want to jump into this. But it won't be until. I'll definitely be late to the party on the raid because there's Elden Ring. I got a lot of shit going on.
For sure.
I didn't start either of those on account of obviously this, but no, it pains me because Horizon looks fantastic. Elden Ring is just, I want to get lost in Elden Ring for literally 100 hours. Just stream it like every day that I have off time between Destiny and just get lost and go wander into every nook and cranny. And I've heard it like people have tripped over 8 different random mini bosses before they even got to the first guy, or they fought the crazy guy. And then it sounds so much fun that I want to get into. I did want to ask you guys real quick, actually, those who are playing it, because I have a friend who's hearing it was kind of like Skyrim. Does it I guess more on the exploration, kind of unguided. Is it
Elden
like
Ring?
Elden Ring? Is it
Oh
like
yeah, like
Skyrim?
I think 100 hours isn't enough. Like I'm 20 hours into the game and I still haven't gone into the main castle that basically gets you out of the tutorial area.
Oh
Like
wow.
basically the area I'm in is like Whiterun, you know, in Witcher 3, where it's like before you go to the main map, and there's like this a series of bosses that gets you out of a castle and then it opens up into the real world. And I've just been exploring all the area before that, and I'm like I've killed maybe like 30 bosses and I'm like level like 40 or something like that. And they said, go to the church and you'll learn everything you need to go. And I went, nope. And I went the opposite way. And I've just been exploring all this other stuff. And I know nothing about the story. I clearly am like missing something. I keep finding these things that like refer to great runes. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. It probably has something to do with the main story. And it's just, oh my God, man, it's so fantastic. I'm going to spend like 300 hours in this game. I can already tell because I'm going to do everything. I need to do everything. I need to fight every stupid
Is there a lot of because for Dark Souls it's like walk a hallway, a little bit of combat, walk a hallway, a little bit of combat, work through this area, get to a boss, keep like it is all about the combat. Do you feel with Elden Ring there is still a large amount of combat, or is it just like aimless wandering and then you get to it? Is the combat still the relevant thing?
You can choose to have combat in the open world because you can just get on your horse and run away from it. Like you really can choose. It's kind of optional, but there is a lot of it in the open world. But it's more these mini dungeons that you go into where like they're everywhere, man. Like the opening area has like 30 of these damn things, and each of them has a boss at the end. And I don't know how they did it, Chris. Like, is that sort of your experience as well?
Yeah. No, I tweeted earlier. It's like this is probably like the best open world game that I've ever played, and I really don't know how I don't know how they pulled this off because it is so. I think not to make this whole conversation about Elden Ring, but I do feel like
this is my fault.
I just do feel like they did something really special here, where they just sort of they get out of your way, like they don't like spam your map with map markers. They don't like give you a million things to do on a checklist. They don't give you like here's your side objectives and here's your main objectives, and then they blend together because they're all on the same list. They just sort of tell you there's a castle to the north, and that's it. They don't put it on your map. They don't do anything. And they just set you free in this world, and the combat is incredible. Like, moving around on your horse is incredible. You got a double jumping spirit horse that turns on a dime. It's like the best horseback combat that I've ever had in any I've ever experienced in any game. So good, yeah. It's just deeply satisfying. It's really open. The enemy variety should put the overwhelming majority of game developers to shame in comparison. It's just it's a remarkable game. And the best way that I can kind of pitch it as far as like a simplification of it, it's like it feels like if Skyrim and Breath of the Wild were Shadow of the Colossus. There's like a breadth
too much
and like an eeriness and an atmosphere and a respect of the player's intelligence that I don't find in many open world games, if any. And Horizon is a fantastic example of Horizon's Forbidden West is a fantastic modern Ubisoft style game. It's like it's got the map markers, it's got the annoying checklists, and despite all that, it is a good game. But this is next level shit with Elden Ring. It is, and it's really only that good because of the things that it chooses not to do that other games find some weird urge to do, like spam you with all these markers and spam you with all these unnecessary cutscenes and dialogue. It's like, I don't need all this. Just let me get lost in the world like I used to get lost in Shadow of the Colossus or Zelda or fucking any number of these old games that understood that the mystery was part of it.
For sure. And it's actually it is a stark kind of, you get whiplash going back and forth between Elden Ring and Forbidden West, because Forbidden West is the exact opposite of Elden Ring when it comes to hand holding. They handhold you so much.
It's like I think I can glide to that ledge. It's like, I know I can.
She comments on everything. Like I don't think there's more than 15 seconds where Aloy isn't saying something, and it's almost always like, hey, I found a new item. I'll put it in my stash. Or,
they did patch the stash, I heard.
Thank God, because that was one of my main complaints. I talked about that on Bitcast for like 30 minutes. I was just talking about how much I hate how much she talks. But the hand holdiness, it is like probably the worst I've ever seen in a game. And then you go and you play Elden Ring, and you're like, oh, thank God! Like, I'm so glad to be free of that prison that they put me in. It's like being in school.
Now
So,
I really am debating on the order of these two now. The way you guys talk about them more, because it's like Horizon is going to have a start to a finish. It feels like Elden Ring, I'm just going to be lost for a while.
Here's the thing. I think Horizon's still got a really solid combat loop, and it's got a really solid story. So like, I think if you want to like beeline that story, I think it's probably the smart thing to do, because the open world is not going to be nearly as satisfying as Elden Ring. It's just not. Yeah. It's pretty, but
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks gorgeous. Sorry, my tangent. Everybody on the podcast be like, "I'm just a Destiny podcast." My fault. I have questions about Elden Ring since I haven't touched it yet, and these two I know have, so I had to ask. So, but yeah,
Cog, you should play it. Stop being a wimp.
Please.
Which queen? Sorry, I ain't trying to hear you. I'm only enslaved one.
Someday.
I ain't trying to hear none
Sometime
of that.
in 2022, I want to look over on Discord.
Saturday, bro, and then we gonna see what happened after that. But y'all go ahead, y'all.
God, just do both like me and don't sleep.
Yeah,
no sleep. Yeah, I gotta discipline myself, man. Nah, man, I'm trying to live. Y'all ain't trying to kill me.
Yeah, we are. What's wrong with that, man?
What's wrong with
You're not cool enough to die, bro?
You don't want to die, bro?
Death of 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
I like that. That was good.
Yeah. So some of us will be playing. Chris will wait a little bit. Us three will be. Hopefully, we can try and finish this thing. I know Travis has definitely got to try and do it for multiple reasons to cross that finish line.
I am doing it. I'm beating it tomorrow. Let me tell you, I'm beating it tomorrow. I got an A team. I got D flawless. We got streamers on there. We're getting out there.
You got streamer. You got streamer luck in there. Okay, you're good then. Yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah, no, we're winning. We're winning. So. I did Deep Stone Crypt. I think I've done the past couple of day one, but obviously only one contest mode. But I beat Deep Stone Crypt the first day, so I'm in it to win it.
So they've got they did drop. So we've got the new raid belt, which that's probably not going to be between any of us unless Travis just goes off. So okay, he's got it. All right.
He got it.
I want to see that. I want to see this on the podcast.
I'm wearing it next episode. You all get ready.
You know those things ship like the Bungie store ships like 6 months later. You're gonna have some time till you get that.
The new raid be out when it's
I'm going to pick it up in person. I'm driving up to Seattle.
He's getting the demo unit. He's getting the demo unit. It may not fit him, but he's getting it. So
for sure, it would definitely be faster than order. This shirt took me months to.
I ordered my Witch Queen shirt before launch, like a couple weeks before. I still don't have it yet.
Yeah, you might get it before the final shape.
Yeah.
Yo.
But if you guys are dealing with any orders right now, I've had issues with different orders on lots of different stuff, so it's just a world right now. But the contest, victory mode, first 24 hours, that's one of those things I wish they would leave as an option. Like they have the contest emblem, which does look very cool. Everything with both the contest emblem and then you've got the completion emblem, like the jackets the first week, we know about that thing. But both of these look like very dark and darkness related, kind of Pink Floyd basically, because everything goes from like darkness and black to this like prism of color. Yeah. And we've also basically got the pin that you guys can see, and then kind of like the seasonal pin, seasonal icon. And you guys notice there's like a straight line for the icon, and then we have like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5. So somebody actually in the comments or Twitter or something basically stated that, how many encounters do you feel? Because somebody said this may basically lead to the idea that we have 5 encounters because there's 5 branches on this little emblem. How long do you guys think the raid is going to be? This is my lead into this, is why. How many encounters do you expect this whole thing to be?
5 encounters.
5 like chest level encounter type things?
Yeah. They'll have like a weird opening thing. That's
like they do.
Thing lately, like a weird thing that doesn't really feel like a full encounter. Mm-hmm. And then they'll have probably 2 boss fights and another weird one, kind of in the middle of the raid. And then there'll be one big final boss, which I'm hoping will be witness related or the new mob type or something that like we're not expecting. That's going to be like a game changer. That's my extremely high hopes that I'm sure will be shattered instantly when I fight the same Scorn Baron at the end of the fight that was in
no name score.
Yeah. Dude, if it's Thanix found a way back from the live.
If Thanix is in this,
if Thanix is in it, yeah, this game just got like a 6.
Yeah, for sure.
You haven't played Deep Stone Crypt, so you don't know that joke, but that's the
you know that joke. Whoa.
They keep reusing enemies is basically the short version, Chris. They keep reusing like the same.
Yeah. No, I know. Maybe we'll see Omnigul again. Yeah, who knows?
For no reason. Be fighting Crota again. It's just the exact same fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think Sepix again. He's the final one. Yeah, man. I'm with Trav. I think general consensus is usually about 4 to 5 encounters. But the first really probably not being an encounter just to kind of get your feet wet with the environment. I stumbled upon just kind of running around patrols. And I was like, wait a minute, what's this area? This looks... what's funny is I figured, I was like, that gotta be where the raid
Simple with the 2.
Like,
yeah,
I'm like, who are these 2 hive, guardians out here? And then I looked at the top and I'm like, yeah, this feels like an entrance to a raid. I'm very curious to see how they... My main thing is just narratively, how do they link, the whole thing as far as the witness and follow the disciple being a disciple of the witness. So, I have my theories there. There's a lot going on. I won't spoil. I have some strong theories there. But if that's the case, my only concern now is just like, it's that great pantheon of raids, right? So we already established, the Witch Queen campaign is the GOAT campaign. But I want to know if, in comparison now to expansion versus expansion, because a lot of my Taken King dudes are like, yo, but that raid though, can it truly live up to King's Fall? Can it truly lives up to, Last Wish, all that? So that's what I want to see. And I want to
see. It can.
Listen, we know it's going to be good. We know that, right? It just comes down to how good, what is presented. I remember when you did Last Wish, the moment we saw a river, we were like, yo, and Amankara, yo. Like there were moments, right? When you see Oryx over the board. Remember, we saw our man, Brian Monkus, that got the image of Oryx over the small little like, there's moments where you're like, okay, will it have that moment? That's my only concern. And I think they could, if they are ballsy and do something special with maybe a reveal of something or an enemy race that we haven't seen or something. They got the potential, because that's my only thing. I know it's going to be great. I just want to know where it goes. So I'm excited, man. I want to know what's the Vowed Disciple about? What's going on there?
Yeah, that's the big one for me, is the fact that, do we see something different partway through? I mean, we're going into the pyramid ship, so the architecture alone is going to be awesome, because I love the architecture of the pyramid ships. When you go into the mission on Europa, everybody's like, oh, we're just going to go back into Europa and do some... This place looks amazing. I mean, it was just this turn from snow to go into the pyramid, and every turn that I go in, I'm just like, I love the way they built just the little texture on the walls, the way it looks so foreign and alien, completely different than everything else. The fact that we spend the entire time in there, the space station on Deep Stone Crypt, still amazing. And there's a moment in Deep Stone that's like, okay, so one, do we get a moment like, and again, I don't want them to try and copy the Deep Stone Crypt moment.
Spoilers, someone didn't do.
I know, I haven't said the moment yet, right? I haven't said the moment.
Okay.
Like I know what you're talking about.
Like I will make sure I will ruin it for you.
Like I know what happens. It's just a matter of like I haven't done it. And
just haven't done it. Okay, my bad.
So it's like there are moments that happen in some of these raids. As you said, Oryx. I think that's one of the biggest things, is when Guardians feel small. When we as players feel small in scale. It was like when I watched Eternals.
Yes.
You can think about that movie as you want. I know not everybody loves the Eternals, but the way they presented scale in that movie was one of those things I was like, damn, okay, that's actually huge. And it's those moments that they've done actually in this, as you said, with the Ahamkara, with Oryx. If they can have a scale moment and a Vow of the Disciple, possible, other racial moment of Destiny, like to bring in the witness and whatever's going to be there, some connection there where it's, this like shadowy figure that does, when we watch the cinematic, he's not of form, obviously.
Right.
If we get anything like that on top of being in the pyramid ship,
It'll hit.
And then I think it's definitely got a chance. Then and I don't know how the transition's going to be like. Our score in the defense, and then we have this weird transition. Is it just the one finale guy? So it's like I do expect a lot of scoring.
It's got to be finale.
It's got to be finale. Yeah, it's got to be
the big reveal.
And I'm thinking it might only be one of the ad type. Like
I agree.
Full mob. I think it'll. Just
agree.
Like the boss is something new.
The boss is something new. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And that'll be how they intro it to the new race that's coming in Nightfall. That's just my guess, dude. We're living out in complete just ass pull theory right now.
Oh yeah, we're speculating. We're deep. We go with it.
It's exciting though.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Chris, go. Yeah.
No, I'm just it's just exciting because I think a lot of the excitement is just from how good the campaign is, just to hope, like, so many of the raids have been just of such high quality that to have another high quality raid in tandem with the first truly like genuinely great campaign would just be like a really great thing. And I don't know. It's scary at the same time, because before it was like, oh, the raid's definitely going to be better than the story, but now I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, maybe not.
Right? That's a good point.
It might not be the case.
Honestly, I kind of prefer it that way. Like if I had to pick, I'd be like, make the campaign better because so few people see the raid. And yeah.
But let me ask you this though, real quick before I forget. Any chances of a Savathun appearance based on what has happened post-COVID campaign?
I don't think so right now.
No, I don't
no references, no nothing.
References maybe because you could have memories or a voiceover line or voicemail that we've had. Those joking things. I don't see much with relation to her. I think this is intentionally post-campaign cinematic. We saw heading that way. I think the Savathun pieces are going to develop over the course of the year with memories and things like that. Because again, her ghost is still out there and that type of stuff, and like we're not entirely sure if she's dead, if she's not. We did kill her in the throne world, but that type of thing. But it's like, yeah, I'm hoping, I guess I would say, it is progression towards the Witness Darkness stuff. That's my hope, at least.
Yeah. Me too, and I think everything points to that. I mean, the swamp is, it's called like the swamp of the Witness or the bog of the Witness or something like that. So it's like very clearly the part of her mind that is dedicated to that time in the Witness's service. So I would be very surprised if it didn't go in that direction. We might fight maybe an illusion of Savathun or whatever that we've been fighting in the seasonal thing, something like that. But I don't expect that she'll be in it. I will be disappointed if there's not Hive Guardians in it.
I was actually about to ask you that. Yeah, it's like because if it is darkness themed, but we're getting away from the Hive, I was actually wondering if they're going to implement them or how they would.
I would just prefer them to champions, to be honest.
Yes.
If champions at all. I hate champions so much. They should take them out of the game.
Yeah, I'm not big on them either. Like I remember, I thought they were kind of needed in the beginning. It's like, oh, cool. You kind of have to, spec your arms accordingly. But at the same time, it's like I have to play in a way that I don't want to play just to play it. And it's not necessarily. It's not that I don't think it's like a valid challenge, but at the same, it just takes a lot of the fun out of encounters when you have to. Oh, I have to use a scout rifle, which I don't like using, or you have to use a pulse rifle, and it's like, damn, the only pulse rifle I have is like really not even close to my favorite gun. Or it's like sometimes you have that situation where it's like, God, and everybody's got to use the same shit because everybody, the mods are only available for certain things, and it just becomes a little monotonous and boring. And I prefer a gameplay oriented challenge to a stat oriented challenge. I think the Hive Guardians were just such a great breath of fresh air and exactly what the sandbox needed to really like pull the gameplay forward in a way that wasn't so driven by these background elements of the UI and background elements of character customization. Just having that challenge and just having that challenge in addition to the thought process of like, oh, okay, these guys can resurrect and they're strong and they can one hit me. Do I make a mad dash for them once I kill them and deal with the mobs later, or do I clear out the mobs so that I have a chance at really like that thought process is fun to have in any game. And to have that in Destiny finally is just really nice. And the champions just didn't do that. It was just a big, tedious, like, I gotta go
into my menu to fight this guy so that I can equip the right. Yeah, that's like terrible. I also think like it could be good as a game mechanic. Like if you put the Hive Guardian somewhere where it's like inconvenient, or you have to like create platforms to jump and get to him, then it becomes a puzzle of like, well, not only do we have to kill this thing, but then we have to find a way to get to it, and we have to make sure we have coverage on the map so that somebody can crush the ghost in time, and it can be really good that way. So I agree. I just think champions would be a big like, okay, this is a chore. And the Hive Guardians would be not only like a cool new threat, but also just mechanically interesting. So I
Scorn Guardians.
Scorn. Why not?
I was like, if we all see a Scorn Guardian, I think we're all just going to be like, all right, I have to change my pants. This is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So
I think like it sounds ridiculous. Remember when the leak happened where we knew Hive Guardians were coming like over a year ago, and at the time we all were like, "That's insane!" Like would they really put like a hive with a ghost? And now we see it and we're like, "Oh yeah, that seems normal." So yeah. Sure, put Scorn Guardians in it. Nothing will surprise us.
I would hope for them to be present in the raid in a decent capacity, because they are just such a fun enemy to fight. And in that darkness architecture, that dark city that you visit briefly for, I think, one of the campaign missions, is just like so enticing. It's like, whoa, we're in Castlevania all of a sudden, and it's awesome. It's so cool.
Very cool.
I'm also really excited by, I don't know if you've seen this, Chris, but all the promotion for the raid has had this rainbow beams of light, like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon album, like thing on it.
I haven't seen a lot.
Yeah, it's all the emblems.
Yeah, it's like beams of colored light going out of like a pyramid ship, right? And so my current hope is that this raid is going to be like Legend of Zelda Light Temple, where there's lots of beams of light that have to kind of like be redirected around, and we're going to have to be like solving puzzles as we play that involve light and reflection. And that's just my hope based on what I've seen from the promotional material. But
it
is very interesting. I definitely didn't expect rainbow color schemes to be so present in the promotion for the raid. So
that is interesting.
He's giving you some images to check out.
Yeah, wow.
Very interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, that's
man.
Yeah, that's kind of the weird nature of going into the darkness, going into this black pyramid, and then somehow they have the, as you said, the prismatic, the split of like what a prism does to light. And we get to see this full color wheel scale of everything from the one beam of light in the darkness. There's got to be, they're messing with a whole bunch of thematic stuff there, which is always fun when they go deep on it. But I will say, between the two emblems, the 24-hour one's cool, but I like the normal one more, and I normally don't do that. I like the little pyramid over the light versus the like circle wheel one, personally, if I'm going to look at one little icon in the corner of me.
I feel you.
I like the
one. I like the 24 one. Which one do you like?
Oh, is the 24 one the top one?
The 24 is the top, yeah.
Oh, you're right. I do like the normal one. Then I
like the lower one. Sorry, I thought it was the opposite. Yeah, my fault.
I thought it was the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that though. They kind of have to give the one that's around forever the cooler one, and then the people who get to flex. In my opinion, the legendary ones have always been kind of ugly. Like I use the Deepstone Crypt one as a flex because like, oh, I beat it on Conquest mode. The entire time I was like, God, this thing's ugly. I don't want to have it. But
just because you know nobody else ain't got it. That's what it is.
I feel the same way. I got
such FOMO like with that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I got the movie of the week once on Bungie, so I wear that emblem all the time. It's so ugly, but I have to rock it because like nobody else has movie of the week emblem. Like I gotta flex it. So.
I just got a rare emblem actually, because the game to give charity stream that I did actually crossed the so that was
nice.
Shout out to chat. We raised like $3,800 for the game to give charity. All goes to the Bungie Foundation, which was going to all of their awesome causes. But if you cross a certain threshold, just as like a fundraiser, you actually get a unique one for people who break $2,500. So I've got a very rare emblem coming my way at some point, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
So I will have to, even if it looks even however it looks, I'll have to put that on a character too.
What if it's just a JPEG of like promotional image, like a promotional art for like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody from 2006? Like, would you still rep that? Dylan and Cole Sprouse as children, just like on your fucking on your name.
What if it was the Friends logo? Just
Friends logo. Sadly, I would do that one because I'm a huge Friends fan. You can give me a hard time all you want, but my wife and I are both massive Friends fans. They had the Friends experience, and we went to the mall and actually.
Can you imagine that above your menu every time you
just Friends with all the dots between it and everything? Yeah. My wife would be like, "What happened to your gate? What happened? Weird crossover event? Yeah, weird crossover event. Totally big deal. I did see one super chat. I wanted to call it out. This is just we were talking about this earlier. OG TK Cole, Witch Queen has a lot of issues that people are overlooking right now. Gambit, PvP, and economy. We already hammered that home. Believe me, we agree with you there.
Oh yeah, we complained about all that shit.
That was like the first hour, basically. Yeah.
Shout out to OG. He must have just pulled up. That's the homie. Yeah, we definitely went in on all that for sure.
Yep. Yeah, that is the big thing is going to be this raid. So we got Score Impossible. Everybody's thinking that 4 to 5 encounter. It's got to be a beefy raid. It can't be no raid layers, no little, no shortness.
Yeah,
I wonder.
You attack this to Witch Queen, you got to be
no Crota's End is what we're.
Yeah, no Crota's. No Crota's End.
I always get so much crap about Crota's End. It's fine. I see.
It's okay. It's okay.
It is short, right?
It's great dungeon
encounters. Basically.
There's multiple. You got the lanterns.
Look, it's a fun raid, but it's a short one. It's
a fun but short raid. Yeah, that's fair. But it was
short
fun.
And sweet.
I would take that actually. I would be fine with a short but fun raid, but I think our expectations are sky high because they're introducing the Witness. This is their chance to kind of build him up, so I think they have to.
So like 5 encounters. How long do you think it's going to take the world's first team?
10 hours.
Oh man. That's a safe. I feel like maybe 10 hours is safe. I think I've actually not really paid that much attention to a lot of the previous work. I know. Was it Datto who came in like second or something?
Second at 24 hours and 2 minutes.
Last Wish was beaten at like 23 hours, but that's the longest we've ever had a world's first last.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's going to be over a day. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and say 15. Just to hedge some bets.
Nice. Cog, where you at? How long are you?
The opposite will happen. It'll be over in 6 hours.
Yeah, because
I think Deepstone Crypt was like that.
That's what I was thinking too. Because I was
totally possible.
Just only because of the builds and how creative people are. Once they figure once the mechanics are filled out, then it comes. There's always that part. There's a DPS check, at some point. And once guys figured out strats and be like, yo, throw the suppressor on, weaken them here, we get an extra 30% here, then they might figure out some builds. I'll be in my mind, I'm coming in there with a couple things, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna go like 10 or less. Because I think people are ready. They're specced out, they're going hard. They're so ready when we get to these patch notes. That Bungie is like, hey, we're disabling all these broken things that you guys found in 2 weeks. like all these broken strats that melt bosses and do all types of crazy behaviors. We are disabling for 1 day. So that shows me like,
the next day. The next day is just going to be absolutely crazy. Yeah. It's going to be smashed.
The disciple gonna get that work on Sunday. like the disciple is going to get roughed up.
That's assuming the power level is still 1530. I think it might be 1550.
You think so?
Let you overpower and they'll let you do artifact because everybody's over 1550 with artifact and all that. Anybody who's been playing even like
they usually don't go crazy high on the raids though. They usually don't. They don't go max.
Raids are really that low.
Yeah, raids are usually about 20 below. Like you go look up. I mean, granted, I think all the power levels skewed now, but previously. It's never quite, it's not going to be at power cap. I don't know if they've ever done that. Now, the encounters may eventually get up there by the final one. Like the disciple may be 1550, but like the starting encounter is going to be like 1530. People are going to smash most of that raid 24 hours and 1 minute later when people log in the next day and be like, all right, let's see how it is on day 2. Bam, bam, bam. It's going to get worked really fast. And it always does.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about it maybe not being the full thing. But yeah, I think you'll probably need to be 1550 if you actually want the advantage, because otherwise you'll just be doing the same encounters contest mode if you're 1530 and you're fully 20 below it.
Yeah.
Shout out real quick to Rez in chat, Rez73, first time catching a live podcast. Loving the Witch Queen, love your podcast. Listen every week. Thank you for the listens. Appreciate that one. Thank you for the $10 that Australian dollars? $8?
Australia, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Shout out to the other side of the world. So always a few
3
coming from over
a.m. where
there.
he's at.
Yeah,
He woke
in the
up
future.
listening to us.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in the future right now.
How's the raid look, by the way? Let us know. You got that future.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But as we lead into this thing, is there anything else for this week that you guys are trying to wrap up before? Cog's got that exotic quest to do. Have you done the exotic quest for the other two? I know Cog hasn't yet.
Yeah, I've done all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have not.
It's like Elden Ring
No,
keeps
wait,
pulling
wait,
me
wait.
back.
I did.
Glaive yet. Is the Glaive even
Vox
available?
Vox Obscura is the one I'm talking about, at least mainly.
That's
I got that.
right. I did not do that one.
Okay.
That one I was
It's a
getting
good
trounced
mission.
on. Yeah, it's
Good
fun.
mission.
Like I remember starting it, and I remember loading in. I was like, "Oh, this looks familiar. What is this?"
Yeah.
And then I had that moment where you were hacking the door, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is D1 Mars. I wonder how much of D1 Mars is here, and it's a lot of it.
Yeah,
A
it is.
shocking amount of it." And that was just a really nice callback. And I know that's like not new content exactly, but it's been so long since we've seen that version of Mars that it was like a nice change of pace. And I personally liked D1 Mars way more than the vanilla D2 Mars that we got. I don't know.
For sure.
It was something really cool about seeing sunken skyscrapers and descending into the sand, and it was so goddamn cool. I remember farming for relic iron for years. But I think yeah, I want to do that mission at some point super soon. I think it's probably going to be the next thing I chase because I feel like I've done everything else. I got that what is it, that the exotic worm
Parasite.
launcher.
Yeah.
The parasite.
That thing hits like a
Which is
truck, by the way.
I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that is a really, and apparently that gun talks to you. I haven't had it talk to me yet after the initial cutscene, but I'm looking forward
You have
to
to get kills with it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting to fucking around with that gun a little bit more. Maybe that'll help me on Vox Obscura, but so far I have not done that one yet.
Yeah, the biggest thing about
I keep
Vox,
getting trounced by that time limit thing.
Yeah, the biggest thing for Vox for me when I tried it, I was like, oh, I opened it at like 1521. Like after I finished the campaign, here was this thing. I tried it. I got worked for a bit. I went back at like 1547. Second time I beat it. So I mean, it's noticeably different at level. So that's the biggest thing I can say is once you're at level. So I soloed it my second time, so it's pretty manageable at that point.
I tried it at 1510 because I was like, maybe.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah,
I thought maybe I could run. I thought maybe I could run through shit and just like be really patient. But no.
No, even just
since you're on a timer in that one, so you literally can't be patient. Yeah.
I did not expect the timer when I went in.
No, I didn't expect it to be that short. And I'm going through is like stuff needs to die faster, like right now. And yeah, there was a couple of kinks I worked.
Especially the tank part. I feel like the tank part is like a
it's a tight squeeze. Yeah, I got pretty close.
I'm a little bit behind in general because I still got to get my galley. I've been playing too many other things. I've been like distracted. And then by the time I come back to Destiny, I'm like, how do I get things? I'm lost. There's so many currencies. I don't know what the fuck to do. But I got my Vorpal weapon, Deadman's from Zer.
Nice.
Nice. If PvP was fun, I would be excited to take into PvP.
Get in that grasp of avarice dungeon and get that galley. Yep.
I gotta do it. I was told because like I was talking to my ex roommate about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you should do that." And I was like, "Can I do it solo?" And he's like, "Yeah, you probably shouldn't."
No. Yeah, you definitely not.
I've got a guide. I've got a guide for you to do it solo if you want. But
E got you. Yeah, E got
you. Maybe I'll do that.
It's a fun challenge solo because it is one. Is it about patience? It's kind of like a Dark Souls fight. If you get greedy, you'll probably get caught out of position. But if you're patient with everything and don't force it, it's not too bad once you kind of get a feel for it. So it's a fun challenge.
That's what I figure. Like I just like those dungeons and those exotic missions. Good. Like I still think of I think the moment where like everything changed for me was like Presage. When Presage came out, I was like, this is a turning point for sure as far as like mission design in this game.
I'm so sad that's gone.
I know, such a good mission.
Chris. You might not know this, Chris, but Ebontis is kind of the Bife of playing Destiny alone.
Yes.
My name is Loner, if you will.
I just got called out real hard there. Thanks.
Hey, I do like though. He likes playing alone. He's your core audience right there, man.
Yeah, I do a lot of solo stuff.
I do. I like playing alone too. Like specifically, like with the first time, you know, like because I want to take in as much of the environment as possible, and it's kind of hard when your friends are just laughing at stupid shit like constantly. Like it's fun like after the first time to just kind of grind stuff out to just. It's a great game for just hanging out and maybe like even just listening to podcasts and stuff. But that first time I have to be completely engrossed because it's a beautiful fucking game. Like I think the art design in Destiny in general is like super underrated. Like it's just a gorgeous game to spend time in.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. And them skyboxes for me always gets me. Love those. Mm-hmm.
All right, final pieces. Going into the raid, what is the first things that you're gonna walk into the raid with?
We talking them loadouts?
Yeah. Ooh, last couple loadouts as we wrap this thing.
I'm gonna go in with Ostia Striga. I mean,
all right.
Yeah. God, that catalyst is good.
I'm with you, Trav. The only reason why I'm like, knowing Bungie, this is what they're gonna do. Vintage Bungie. We know how dominant the ad control is with that. They're gonna probably put, things we gotta shoot at a distance. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like,
those little squirrely rounds are not going to get there.
The distance, though,
it's decent. You ranged it out, right, with the cat. You ranged it out with the catalyst.
Oh, I don't have the catalyst because of the an alloy problem. But even without it, dude, I got through the entire campaign on Legendary. I did it a second time just to play it, and it's like nasty, dude. You can shoot that thing from pretty far away and get killed.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm
not that worried.
That's definitely on high on my list. I might go Stasis, Eve.
No way.
Because I like the Warlocks, the arms, the double. I could do double turrets. Because my thing is this: with contest mode,
that actually has some use.
They're gonna be lashing us.
Oh yeah.
Let's be honest, right? So my thing is, I want ad control while I figure things out. Like, don't be bombarding me. Stop. Freeze. And if I got to it, I'm controlling if it's like plates or whatever it is. Like, I feel like I can. And shout out to DJ if he in the chat. Me and him was talking about it earlier, and I was just like, I think Stasis lock. You already know FTW salute. So it's like I think I'm going Stasis because it's really. And then you know what else is strong? Aegis, Scepter.
Oh, Scepter is good because it got that 40% buff too.
Oh,
that's true.
So I'm probably for fun, I'm gonna go Stasis first, but I already know there's gonna be a point. Yo, bro, we need a well. Who got the Lunafaction? And I already have to be that dude.
Just make sure if you're running this thing, be like, I need one more Warlock, and you get to babysit that well because I'm running something different. So make sure you got one more and be like, you live well. If you're in this team, I'm gonna have fun. You live well. You do that.
If it's another lock or another Titan bubble, I'm like, all right, cool. I ain't got to do my responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to just have fun, but I'm with you, Trav. Osteo is probably right there, neck and neck between me, Aegis, and a Stasis build or all poison out build and go crazy. But I'm excited. What you going in there, E? What you doing? You got that? Hold on, Trav. You know E going in there with this A-list celebrity team, man. Ain't you going in there?
Really?
Yeah. Tell them who you going in there.
Yeah. You know what? We talked about this on a previous show.
Tell your raid group.
My raid group? Okay. We've got Cool Guy. Great guy. Had him on the show before. Got to send it Nomad. Also good guy coming on the show. All right. He's all right. We got True Vanguard.
What?
All right, that's a big one.
This guy. Right,
we got KJ Hovey. If you guys played D1, you remember him being
KJ Hovey, legend.
And then Jingleheimer as well. He's the only one I don't know specifically, but I've heard he's a very good company. So honestly, it's just going to be I'm going to sit back and I'm not going to try and run that ship.
Very, very world's first-ish.
That is honestly one of the things I'm very happy Cool Guy is in the group is because Cool Guy, when he was on firing range, he was like, okay, for your world's first team, set your alarm, get up every hour, walk around, stretch your legs. Make sure you guys have your water, eat healthy. And I'm like, thank you. I want a reasonable human in this. If we're in this thing for the long haul, I want a human. I don't want to be like, don't tell me to crap in my chair. Get up, get your bathroom breaks, go have your healthy food prepped, all that stuff. Okay, everybody alarm, stretch your legs. And honestly, if you're playing on PC, you're going to need to reboot your game about every 4 to 5 hours anyway, because that like memory leak with D2 is already an issue. So it's like, use those times, take your breaks, clean your head. So I was like, I am so happy when I heard him describe that because I was like, yeah, I can do that. I don't need to be like, all right, I got a catheter set up. I'm good to go. It doesn't need to be that intense. I don't need the bag on the leg. Nothing. So
Soda drink hat.
Yeah, your Ebontis, your raid team sounds like the new kind of touchy feely startup that's got like unlimited vacation and they got nap pods in the office. My raid group is like the old school corporate, like, you know, whip at your back. You know, I want you pulling levers all day in the hot sun. Like that's my group because it's a whole bunch of like PvP mains who were like, if you're not willing to ruin your marriage over this raid, you're not hardcore enough to play with us. Like that's
this real life responsibility stuff, bro.
Yeah, for sure. What's that? You can't hold it, then you can't hold me. And,
Yeah.
You know,
Your wife's giving birth. You can always just have another one. There's never going to be another world's first.
For sure. Dude, they make cameras for a reason. Just record that. You can watch it later, man.
Yeah,
idiot. Right now.
We know dudes. The funny thing, Trav, we know dudes like that.
For sure.
Oh no, there's a reason we're joking is because that's half truth. Like that is no joke that there's somebody out there be like, my child just broke their leg. Dude. Somebody else can figure that out. Like there's just always something ridiculous. Shout out to DJ Oros, of course.
Woo!
Hey guys, Stasis Warlock main here and longtime fan. Just wanted to wish you and have a great raid day. Thank you, sir. Same to you. Good luck. Hopefully you finish after me. That's all I'm saying.
With him, Cog? Is he on your day one team?
He's supposed to be, but he has some responsibilities that he has to take care of.
Wait, what did this guy say? He said
casual.
No. He's raiding, but I ain't gonna blow him up. But he got people coming over. He's doing like a LAN party. He's got like he's doing like the raid.
Scheduled this on the wrong day.
Yeah, no, but he's doing the raid with his homies.
I actually did that. I did Wrath of the Machines at my house with all 6 people. We're all in the same house with our Xboxes, and it was amazing.
DJ got like
that's the way to do it.
3. I'm not blowing you up, DJ, but I'm just saying he got like Series X's, and I'm like, your bandwidth better be lit for all this.
You better have like gigabit.
Yeah, like I hope so, but he doing it right. But he was like, damn, I want to raid with y'all because DJ's fun because he's the dude that you want to have on your team because when you fail the encounter, he's the dude checking the DPS numbers at the end and see who's lower. He'd be like, yo, what's going on with your damage? He's that dude, so he'll get into it with the dudes that argue about who not doing the most DPS.
That's always a good guy to have.
Yes,
that's called being toxic. And I don't know if it
but it's beautiful. You need the try hard dudes in that team because you want to get the best DPS. Shout out to Forte. That's another one. You know what I'm saying? My boy Sinister. Like IOP Clan is hilarious with the DPS kings. They are funny when they looking at those.
Like
look at your damage. Look how much more. What are you using?
Yeah, I feel your loadout is not optimized.
Control my loadout. I hate it. It's like, yo, Travis, what's up with your loadout? And I'll be like, bro, you died twice in that encounter. I was alive the whole time, so don't comment on my loadout. Let's keep to yourself, buddy. Man, mind your P's and Q's, you warlock.
Love it.
You warlock.
See, there you go. See, he was doing good until you did that.
I mean, he died twice. He had to be a warlock or a hunter. It wasn't a titan, for sure.
Guy right here, man. I'm jumped today. There's all these titans around here. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
You're surrounded, bro.
Surrounded. I got 3 titans out here. I just jump on my well and just chill out for a second.
Oh my god.
No, like for me, I gotta go Void just because of now, like the Void Overshield option that we've got. Void is just strong. And for me, Void 3.0 really makes me not want to play the other classes. Because there are exotics that can like the new exotic for Titans that literally just got nerfed yesterday with the patch, by the way, the new fiery helm that looks badass. Now it's like on class ability cooldown only. And if you cast that, then it goes away. So the healing spot doesn't just come automatically. So it's either going to use your class item when you don't, your class ability, your barricade, when you don't think it's going to, you're like all of a sudden, oh, that's there. Or you're going to go to use it and then you can't have it. So that one kind of got nerfed. But Void, just the overshield. You and anybody else can stand behind your barricade. You get a 15-second overshield. You can take it with you and then come back and recharge that thing on top of like bubbles or just hold up your big shield and everybody shoots through it. Just the power of that overshield alone, I think, for Titans is going to be massive just for survival.
Oh yeah, dude. I've been rocking Shield Titan for way before even Void was as good as it is now. So like it's been so nice to have just that. Especially I've been rocking suppressor grenades with Armamentarium, and just having those double suppressors is so especially when you got like high what is it? I can never remember which one the grenade thing is. Resilience or intelligence?
Discipline.
Discipline. Yeah. When you got high discipline with that thing, it's like insane. It is so useful, especially in like high level encounters. That's it. Yeah. That's been my go-to class. And honestly, dude, Ticuu's Divination has been a godsend for me. Woo! As far as like ad clear. I got past in specifically in the legendary solo campaign, I got past that lantern guy in the dark and even the final encounter. A large part because I was just able to scan the environment really quickly and just fire arrows blindingly into the air and just chain together these incredible like solar chain reactions. Bro. That thing is I think a little bit underrated. It does take an exotic slot and it is a bow, so it's like, there's definitely some give and take there. But
they hit harder now, so they got that primary boost. So they are
they did get that primary boost and just even specifically with those moths, those like those tiny to be able to just lock onto those immediately with multiple blows and just be like you're just like they're all gone. And especially that's so important when you're at risk of like having the ones that explode near you. It's that's been my as far as like heavy and primary, I'm kind of bouncing around a bunch of things right now. I don't have a go-to right now. I've been messing around with Crate though, and that's a really
auto,
yeah. I'm liking. I've always had a soft spot for auto rifles though. I don't know why. Even especially in Destiny 1 where they had that really like unique looking frame that they never brought back. But I really want to test out this Parasite a little bit more. I'm curious to see how it handles in proper like hard encounters because I didn't get it until after I was done with the legendary campaign. I might just do the legendary campaign again just to see like how it works. But
it hits when you stack the damage on that thing. I was doing like legend lost sectors or something. Just deletes guys and just bosses into 1 or 2 shots in like lost sectors. It hits like a truck if you can get in position. The worm does not go that far though, so your positioning is going to be it's a little short shot. Yeah.
It's a short distance. But if you're a hunter and you got that reload on the dodge, that's like a pretty reliable hard hit in a short period of time, like a double shot.
Yeah,
not bad.
Shout out to Forte real quick. No DJ on the raid team. I'm out. DPS is king, and I won't be the problem. Great show, Ebontis. Have a great raid day. Same to you, sir. Of course, good luck.
Shout out to Forte. That's the homie. Yeah, he's rocking. You better be rocking with us on Saturday. Yeah, DJ, he was in, but he's got people literally visiting his house. He cannot ditch his people to raid with us. So we gonna do it. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun one. We got the squad, Sinister, everybody. We ready, man. We're ready. Addict's gonna be in there. Have some fun Saturday. Set aside a couple hours. Try to knock this thing out, man.
I'll beat you there. I'll be waiting at the finish line when you get there.
Finish line with the belt.
He's just gonna be holding that drink. Here's your water after you finish your marathon. I finished first.
Emoting or next to the treasure. No doubt.
Well, this is a very exciting time. We get it been longer than a year. Normally it's about a year that we get these, but it's a very exciting time. But I want to say before anything else as we wrap up, Chris, thank you so much for joining us this morning. This has been a hilarious show, as I figured, between Travis, comedian, we got Chris, the comedian, and then Cognito trying to hold it down a little level here. We got a lot of entertainment on the show this morning and I expected nothing less. So thank you for taking the time out to join us this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure. At this point, the floor is yours, though, to say whatever else you want to wrap this show up, where they can find you, if you got another musical in the works. If you guys haven't listened to any of these guys' musicals, please go listen to a couple of these. The parody songs are great. The recent one, I was cracking up. So please go watch some of this man's YouTube stuff. It's great.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't plan on doing that anymore, just because it's so it's hard to. You can't do parody without just seeming like a worse Weird Al. So I think I'm done. But I think I'm working on some fun stuff right now. You can find me over at youtube.com/c/Chris Raygun. And I've been streaming a lot on Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be streaming later today as well. I'm going to be doing a lot of Elden Ring and a little bit of Destiny as well to take some breaks. But you can find me over at twitchtv.com/ChrisRaygun. And that's it.
Outside of a couple podcasts
Outside
and
of a
stuff
couple
that you do.
podcasts.
Yeah.
Outside of the biggest
Yeah.
PlayStation podcast in the world.
A little bit.
Symbols.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
LSM
did that.
stand, stand up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Numbers.
the biggest PlayStation specific one. Yeah. I think
Nice.
I don't know the specific stats because Colin is the one who handles that, and I already got enough stats to fucking. Destiny is all. That's where all my stat management goes. Like, I'm sorry, I can't. Analytics for my career. No, thank you. I've got to max my damage. But yeah, Sacred Symbols, Snark Tank, those are easy to find. You could just Google those. No direct link necessary. But thanks for having me on. It was fun to talk about Destiny. I don't really get to do this a lot because Colin and Dustin don't understand, man. They just don't fucking get it.
It's the dirty secret, and then you meet a couple people at a party with the same exact interests as you, and you talk to them for like 2 hours straight.
Yeah.
That's what just happened.
For sure.
Travis, when can we expect your review? I expect it 1 minute after the raid time is done, sir. Right?
Basically, I mean that's the goal. I'm gonna beat the raid tomorrow, and then on
Just
Sunday.
calling a shot right
That
now.
boy talking and talking and talking. He's spicy. I love it.
I mean, I have to. I don't have a choice. It's do or die for me. I got to do whatever it takes. So, on Sunday, I'm probably going to be wrapping up the last ribbon on my review. It also just depends on how much endgame stuff there is after the raid's beaten. Because remember last year, it opened up a bunch of extra stuff, including a new activity and stuff. So we'll see how crazy it ends up being. But yeah, I expect my review to be posted in some form by Tuesday at the latest, probably.
Nice.
So it'll be done. I'll give it a score. I don't know what my score is yet. It's a little too early to tell. But yeah, I'm loving it. And aside from that, I've been doing a whole bunch of other IGN content, so you can find that on IGN.com. And you can watch me on Bitcast every Sunday morning where we talk about games industry stuff if you care about that. Follow me on Twitter at TyGuyTravis. Also follow this Chris guy. He seems pretty cool. Hangs out with one of my old heroes from the games industry, Colin, and has a good singing voice and all that. So you should follow him.
Thank you.
Yeah. How about you, Cock?
Yo, man, first of all, shout out to the legendary Ray Gunn. I'm so glad I was able to do this, man. It's just to hear him talk Destiny, the passion, you know what I'm saying? And being a chance to work with him at LSM is a pleasure. So salute to you for coming through. Yeah, man, the usual Iron Lord podcast on Sunday. Every Sunday is the Lord's Day. We'll be back, just the four horsemen talking about. We'll be drained out from the raid. See how tired we are. We start on Sunday. So luckily it 11 a.m. start. So that's good. And then check out the Friday Duke this week. Me and Maddie put it down, man. Got a great interview with Mark Dara from BioWare. I highly recommend
on my list.
Bro, highly. You get gems, man. Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Anthem. Bro, you would have been proud of me. The Anthem questions. Because as a Destiny fan, I was like, bro, I hit him with the, what's the Star Wars? You were supposed to be the chosen one.
You were the chosen one? Yeah.
Like, I hit him with it, bro. Like, what happened, bro? Like, hey, he was honest, so give that a shot. I know it's on the Patreon. It's $5, y'all. Jump on it.
I'm already on there. I got you.
Not you, but I'm just saying other people, like, because, like, when is it coming? Like, come on, man. But anyway, check that out. It's up, and obviously we did Duke. But and yeah, of course that E hates what I say. But last word, man, y'all here now. Hit the like button.
Yeah.
But other than that, make sure y'all subscribing and following us, putting out good content and loving what we doing. But E, salute to you on that the charity stream.
Thank you.
See what you're doing.
That was
dope.
Huge
You know
W.
what I'm saying? Big W, man. I like to see you out there moving and shaking and doing stuff positive. In the
there were two parts in there. We started early with the advanced UG dry scoop. That one was a bit rough, but no, I got to.
I'm supporting my boy. Get the bag. Look.
Thank you. Yes.
SGGP.
Yeah.
That's right.
I still don't have mine.
Waiting for that.
Yours hasn't. Yeah, you got to send me an email because if they get lost, they're remaking them. Because it was right around that snowstorm hit. The UPS facility by them basically got wrecked or messed up. So something happened. So yeah, if yours didn't make it, hit me up because I got a couple that are getting replaced. No, like for me on that charity stream, That was really cool. A lot of generosity in there, which was amazing. Couple of chat came through and literally were like, hey, I'm going to match everything for the next 45 minutes. A lot of generosity in there, which is really, really cool. All going to a good cause. But I have never really done the whole hot sauce challenge situation.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Condiment. Go ahead. Let me hear this.
Chris, you don't know any of the background here. I'm a picky eater, so they give me a hell of a hard time about it in the first place. So I have my food thoughts. But I try. All I can say is like,
real quick.
Oh, okay.
Chris,
Yep. All right.
I'm sorry, Chris. Remember when we went to the restaurant joint at LSM? We all link up. Like, picture that was my first experience with E, but at a Destiny convention, and food came out, and condiments tried to be put on his food, and he's like removing it from the food. So I was just like, "What is going on?" So then I'm like, "You don't put condiments on nothing? No ketchup? No?" I'm like, he's like, "No." I'm like, "What is wrong?" Well, I just had to say, sorry, E. He had to get the proper context. Now you can continue your story.
Yeah, it's a real problem on this podcast. Cog and I enjoy this thing called flavor.
Yes.
That's the thing is I like flavor and seasoning. Yes, actually, some
you like
yes.
flavor? I don't know.
Anywho, I looked on Amazon to see what sauces I could get on short notice, and unfortunately, one of them was Da Bomb. So if you've ever watched the Hot Wings challenge, I literally like never really do hot sauce ever. So I got I got a spicy teriyaki with habanero. And I was like, okay, so I tried the spicy teriyaki with habanero. You know, actually, I like teriyaki in the first place, but I was like, how spicy is it going to be with the habanero? I love teriyaki, by the way. That's yeah.
Continue.
Anyways, see, they don't know everything. They get some stuff wrong. Anyway.
Messy, bro.
But the spicy teriyaki with habanero was like, I actually liked it. It had a little bit of heat, but the lingering heat was like that perfect amount. Like if you get a spicy salsa at a Mexican restaurant, it's just enough to where I'm like, it's not on fire, but I know it's there. I was like, that was good. So I'm sitting there.
Put the bomb on?
No. And then that was the thing is like, that was like the charity threshold. And I'm like, I actually like this. I can't count this as my milestone. It's like, because it does. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go get one more and I'm going to put the bomb on. I literally died for 10 minutes on stream. It just burned. There was milk, like the milk would fade away, then would come roaring right back. And it doesn't even taste good. That's the other thing I've heard. And I knew it didn't. It already doesn't taste good. It's just built to burn your face off, and it did. So that was, Charity enjoyed that one. And then also at some point we are going to get a full cheetah suit stream and then a cooking stream. So we get two others.
You're out of your mind, man. Who told you to put the bomb on? I didn't tell you to put the bomb on. Why'd you put the bomb on? I'm saying, I think, look, man, I will agree with you on one thing. I'm not a ketchup person. Every other sauce, I like I dig like mayo, I dig hot sauce, all that shit. But like ketchup for some reason just feels like feels like tomato syrup, and there's something like really disgusting about it to me.
I got one. Thank you. I got one.
Yeah, but ketchup isn't my favorite either. But like sauces is crazy to me.
But mustard and like, come on, man.
Not a fan of mustard.
You eat dry sandwiches your whole life, just dry. Just dry. Just dry bread, just like you're just chewing on sandpaper.
It's like that guy. It's like that great what is it? That video of the guy like eating the Popeyes biscuit and he reaches for the water and he dies on the way.
I remember that. I love it. It's gonna be lit at GCX. Oh man.
Yeah. So anyway, my stuff's Ebontis. Look me up everywhere. I'll be streaming as long as my eyeballs stay open. From tomorrow at raid start, I will be streaming it. So come hang out. If you are avoiding spoilers, obviously go enjoy it yourself. But again, thank you, Travis. Thank you, Cog. And especially thank you, Chris, for joining us. Big fan of everything that you do. And the more I looked into you for that intro, the more I fell in love. Great content, great entertainment. And of course, go check out Sacred Symbols, Last Stand Media. It's literally half of the show right now is Last Stand Media. Support half the show that we got on here, and you're in good hands because we got good company here. And those two are great. Right now, it's the top of the screen is all Last Stand. So,
that's right.
Well, as we wrap this one up, chat, you guys have been on fire. Thank you guys for the super chats and the support. Good luck to everybody who is raiding tomorrow, including all of us in here. Chris, whenever you get to it, should be a fun experience. Yeah. But to everybody here, episode number 187, thank you guys so much. It has been the last word.
Last word. We didn't even tell him. We didn't
That's
even
an
tell him.
old-
Street
that's
person,
all
like, what we
you.
do.
You're the
We
worst.
sucked. Like, we literally sucked. We have given no preemptive strike. That is
Amber.
true.
All right, we can do it again, and I can cut it in there.
It's too late. It's not the
Too
same.
late. It's not real. It's not
Same.
authentic.
No.
That
All
was
right,
the-
chat,
that
you
was
guys are
the-
awesome.
That was the world's first, and now
Yeah,
it's